People, everybody over there, everyone's still awake? Is everyone asleep? Oh my goodness, it's the Chat Attack, not Double Toasted Pre-Show. No, we're doing our own thing, and man, we are gonna... I really hope tonight goes okay. Like, I am fucking worried, but what's up, people? How are you guys doing? Hopefully, none of you guys are actually asleep right now. I know that it's fucking 9:32 in the CST world. That's where most of the people, most of our community actually watches us from. Apologize for starting so fucking late. But we got a fucking huge, epic show for you, and it could be epically good or epically bad. I don't know. Alan, how you doing, man?
I am good. How are y'all doing?
I'm doing absolutely awesome. Over here, Mauricio, New Year, same Chat Attack. Mauricio in the chat. Oh, yes, Bob saying top list. That means a 10-hour show. Let's go. Damn fucking shit.
Get this party started. We're going to do this shit all day. We're going to do a 24-hour show. Double Toast did it like 6 times. We could do it too.
Mm-hmm. And there ain't going to be no fucking tie time here. Here's the thing, though. I know Jet has somebody in her room probably playing video games and all that stuff, but I do want to get her voice in here, at least for the beginning part. Jet, how you doing? Are you there?
I'm fucking tired.
I know you're fucking tired. I'm sorry. But here's the thing, Jet. Can you just promise me one thing as we do this fucking show?
I'm not making a goddamn list right now.
You're not going to do it right now. No. I'm just asking.
Late.
No, because the thing is, though, dude, is like, I'm telling you, one of my biggest like fears of this entire show right now. I mean, the chat's gonna talk shit because the chat's gonna talk shit. That's what they fucking do. But Jet might go. She might get really fucking mad during this show, and I don't want to deal with that shit on here. I don't want Jet to come here and be like, "What the fuck are you thinking? That was some fucking stupid bullshit." Blah, 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 blah. So, Jet, I apologize ahead of time before we make you mad later. Okay?
It's not just gonna be me mad. You're gonna make people in the chat mad. So that's all your fault.
We're never going to make them more mad than when we gave King Kong Best of the Year 2017. Never forget.
Yeah, no, what was it? Was it 2017 or 2018? That was like the really horrible...
What's up?
No, because like, there was something really like the Con Skull Island situation. I don't know if that was 2017, 2018, but it was like we got a lot of shit for that. Like fucking insane.
Oh yeah, it was half an hour of the chat letting, why did you put Get Out? Why did you put this? Why did you put that? We're like, we didn't watch him.
Yeah, well, with me, it was
I still haven't seen Get Out.
Well, someone asked me, was like, man, like, why didn't you guys do this? And then, like, everyone's, Ganja, you, whatever, you're like, oh, we didn't watch it. And they came to me, I hate that fucking movie. It's like, oh, fuck you guys. It was like ignorance would have been better.
We probably should have just said we didn't watch it.
At that time, I was in the chat. I was just like, man, these dudes fucking suck.
Yeah, thank you. While she's in the call.
They eventually watched it without me.
DJ Miles says, I won't talk shit. Also, love you guys. And kisses. Yes, kiss on you too, man. Hopefully that, you're doing a lot better. I know that some news came out about what you're going through right now, man. But hopefully you can get your mind off of that shit.
I feel better, dude.
Yeah, dude. On top of feeling better, hopefully the whole YouTube thing got better too. There were some situations where he got fucked over by them stupid ass, nonsensical claims, like copyright claims.
Yeah, the claims. I mean, that's the reason we're on Twitch. So, hey, yeah. Miles, if you're able to just move your shit to Twitch, it might help you out.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely do that. You, somebody like you especially, man. You have so many options to go anywhere you fucking want. By the way, people, I don't talk about this enough, but DJ Miles, you spell it exactly how it's spelled right there in the chat. Go check out his anime stuff. He is constantly doing so many weekly episodes of stuff, especially Jujutsu Kaisen, one of my favorite.
Or Attack on Titan. He's been doing a weekly review of that every single day. Like as soon as the whole season comes out, I'm gonna binge it all and then check out your videos.
Yeah, man. I know. I started off watching a little bit of season 2 of Attack on Titan, and I hated that shit.
Worst season.
Yeah, so I'm going to rewatch the beginning or whatever and kind of do it the way I'm supposed to. Because I'm pretty sure I look like a dumbass starting off in the middle of the fucking series.
Yeah, start off on the worst season and then judge the show.
Yeah. But
hey, everyone, let's go watch season 2 of The Walking Dead. Come on.
No, even if you start from the beginning, still skip season 2. Like fucking.
I mean, same thing with Attack on Titan.
God, dude, Walking Dead. And one of the things I was gonna bring up tonight too was The Walking Dead World Beyond. Man, I'm telling you guys, if anyone actually watches that show and likes it, please let me know. I want to have a discussion with you.
Go ahead, don't do that. It's a trap.
I just want to know fucking why.
Why? He will just start yelling at you incoherently.
Yeah, man. But here's the thing. Before we get started, are you further enough in that particular game that you've been playing that you want to talk about tonight? Or you want to save that for a different day?
Oh no, I'll talk about it right now, real quick, just to get out of the way. So for people that don't know what Nick is talking about, I decided to, just out of the blue, go through and start playing the Mass Effect games again. And for people that don't hear me talk about Mass Effect a lot, Mass Effect 1 is one of my favorite games of all time. Like, if I were to make a top 10 list of all time, And I've talked about Ocarina of Time. I've talked about a handful of other games, but Mass Effect is right there. And I played it through 15 times. I'm going through my 16th attempt. And just to kind of see, it's like, well, does this game still hold up? Does this game still, inspire that same magic that really made me fall in love with video games? Because this is one of those games when I think of how good video games can be, storytelling, gameplay. This is the game that I always talk about because it does so much. But I'm like, well, does it still hold up? Because the game came out in like 2007, 2008.
Yeah.
So it's 12, 13 years, and it's weird because some things hold up. Like, I think the story elements hold up really, really well. The dialogue choices, the way your character can negotiate their way out of fights or into fights, depending on the options you pick. I think the gameplay is good, but definitely the weaker part, especially how the series kind of moves forward. But there's stuff in this game that I still really love. I think this game has great lore, incredible lore, but also has terrible level design.
Yeah.
So I can sit there and compare, is this better than any game in 2020? No. Because video games now have fixed a lot of the problems that this essentially started. The open world being a little bit empty, the level design being kind of cut and paste.
Being very
but
confusing.
Literally, oh my god. For people that know the Mass Effect games, I'm literally at the last level Ilos. 16th playthrough. I still get lost at that place. That level design is fucking terrible. It's all twists and turns. And I'm reading the fucking map. By the way, the map of this game is fucking terrible. Holy shit. I don't think there's a single game on the Xbox 360 outside of GTA that ever had a good fucking map in it. Almost all of them are fucking terrible. But even this one, it's very it's empty. It's like you can make it on fucking Microsoft Paint if it's still around. Like, it's really not that good. But I can't sit there and be like, well, compared to, Ghost or whatever, or Witcher, it's like, you can't do that. So you have to compare. It's like, does this game, what it was trying to do at the time, did it do well? And it pioneered storytelling in video games. Because this is one of the first games, and I was talking to Jet earlier, the first time I played it, I didn't talk to any of the companions because I didn't know I was supposed to. I never played a video game in which the side characters were actually important. They're usually
which is so cool that they're able to pull that off. Because you would think that man, these branches of story arc and everything could be so fucking extreme. So it's kind of cool that you're able to sidestep something like that. Because in Fallout, that happens as well in Fallout 3. But I feel like they did it in certain ways, and then other ways completely didn't. And plus, too, if you do fuck up by doing something with a side character or whatever, it really will destroy the game. And I don't think Mass Effect has that problem, right? Or am I wrong?
No, they managed to fix it up really, really well. But again, it was one of those things where the very first time I played it, I didn't know. So I just went through it, and I was like, what the hell? Some of the choices, some of the things that happened, it's been fucking 12 years. So one of the characters, Rex, during one of the last missions, he's really pissed off because there's something that could save his people, and your plan is essentially to blow the whole place up, which could just doom his entire species. Pulls a gun at you. And at this point, I love that character. He's one of my favorite characters in the game. Points a gun at you, and you have to negotiate the gun down. But the problem is, if you weren't if you weren't Paragon or Renegade, which is good or bad, well, good and an asshole, you can't negotiate the way out of there, so your companion will just shoot him. And that broke my fucking heart the first time I played it. So I had no idea, what the fuck? Can I fix that? Can I change that? It wasn't until the subsequent playthroughs that I was able to. But that's why that game will always hold a special place in my heart, because it's one of the first games that ever did that for me. Because I played video games prior, but nothing ever really touched that particular story of how do you want to tell these stories through this character? Because it's story focused, but it's character focused. So if a character's in a cutscene, they will acknowledge that they're in the cutscene. And if you mix and match your compatriots, they will actually have unique dialogue depending on the scene, and it made it really more immersive. So it wasn't just Gun Buddy 1, Gun Buddy 2. It actually mattered who you brought on your team. And that, to me, it was pioneering in video games because no one ever tried that before. You had stuff like that before, but no one ever put that much effort into it.
Yeah, man. But looking back, though, what would you rate this? Because you're pretty much about to beat the game and everything. What would you rate this out of 5?
Out of 5, this is 4.5. Easily.
Really? Fuck. And by the way, people, you guys don't know.
You gotta understand is I'm not. If this game came out in 2020, that's a different conversation. I have to judge it based on how it holds up and also what it tried to do back in the day. What it tried to do back in the day, if this 2008, that was the best game that fucking year. Hey, it's fucking down. But if you were to say if this game came out now, it's no, it'd be a fucking 3 because of the level design is terrible and the combat's not that good.
And it's still impressive that if it was a 3, just to put that out there.
It's still impressive enough that it's a 3. But again, I'm judging this back on what it was trying to do at the time and what it achieved, because it then launched everyone to play Mass Effect 2, is where they perfected everything. but it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, this is one of my favorite games of all time. I don't claim it's perfect because even back in the day, the level design was terrible. I still hate the level design when I played it. Like I told you, I always got lost at that point. So, and that's why I always go. I can't give anything. This will be perfect lead into our top tens. I don't give anything perfect scores ever. There's never been a single product that I've ever like consumed that I've ever give perfect. Even my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah, and this is coming from a guy who, like, he plays lots of shitty games, and that's probably the reason why. But just to reiterate something to you guys, just even though I'm trying to be a dick, this game gained a 4.5 out of 5 or whatever the fuck you said. It's like, it's pretty much perfect. Like, he's saying, that's up there with some of your best games of all time. So it's really, really cool to see that you still have that feeling about an old game. Because for me, if I play old games that I talked up a storm about, like, I played Resident Evil 3 Nemesis on PS1, like, when the remake came out. And I was like, oh, like, I want to say, like, oh, this is so much fun. It's not fun. It really isn't. It's fucking terrible. Like,
And it's an important thing you have to kind of think about when you go back and replay games that you loved as a child. It's like, you can't, it's hard to not compare because, like, again, I'm playing this game. It's a third-person action game with an RPG element. I can name, like, 4 games off the top of my head, like, that I've played in the last couple of years that I think do certain things better. So it's like one of those things where it's like, yes, the genre evolved, the games evolved, but like, can I go back and imagine what it was like to play it? And it's like, yeah, there's so much good stuff in this game. There's so much stuff that I think is still timeless. I think the dialogue in this game is all good from every character in the entire fucking game because everything is voice acted, so everyone just sounds like they're really into it. So it's like, yeah, you have to give it points. It's like, how many games can you go back in time and say the voice acting was good? You can't say that for Resident Evil.
You really, really cannot. Yeah, dude. No, so I mean, it's just like I said, it's really, really cool that this is the case for you. And yeah, dude. We'll get into the top tens now, though. But I gotta ask you before we even start, where do you want to start off with? You want to start with bad and what genre you want to start with? Movies, series, or games?
I actually don't know, honestly. Because what would it be better? Would it be better to start off with worst and get that shit out of the way, or go into best?
We'll start off. I'm gonna start with worst shows because I feel like that's the least interesting.
Because I didn't watch that much shitty TV.
So, I'm like, why am I so nervous? I am nervous as fuck, dude.
Trust me. Short of you putting like Cobra Kai, which I don't care about this year. Short of you putting something good on your worst, I doubt anyone's gonna fight us.
Well, let's start off. Let's see. Are you guys ready, chat? Here we go. Number 10 worst. Batwoman.
Yeah, that's fair.
Absolutely, yeah. So here's the thing, man. As far as what I remember about Batwoman, when that trailer came out, people were making fun of the trailer, saying it looks like shit, blah blah blah. But then as soon as the episodes aired, I think it was like episode 2 or 3, people were like, "Wow, choreography's not too bad. We don't have an issue with this." But I didn't watch the show. You did, man. Why don't you tell people what you feel about this and why it made one of the worst shows you saw?
It was going through because this was a funny thing is this has been a pretty good year, so or at least 2020 was a pretty good year for media because it was really difficult to come up with the worst of lists. So when I threw this on there is because I love the CW shows and I generally I watch them all and I love them all. This one is like it wasn't as bad as some of the other CW first season shows, but watching it episode after episode, I'm like the writing is bad, the acting is bad, sometimes the fighting is good. But it just feels so uninspired. It doesn't feel like they really put the effort to make this world work. It just felt like they were recycling shit that worked in the prior seasons. But there's some shit here that's as bad as some of the worst television I've ever watched. The only reason I'm okay with it is because of the CW. And even if they're bad, they're not as worse as other shows. But like, there are points where I just gave up watching it and just binged like 5 episodes. Because I'm just like, yo, what the fuck is this shit? Because the choreography is good in some cases, but you can tell because the character just said fuck it and left. Like they recasted her and everything for season 2, which is coming out in a couple of months or a couple of weeks actually, because it just felt like she was getting injured and it was a lot of work, and you could tell she just didn't care about the character anymore.
Yeah. Now moving on to the next one, guys. This I'm pretty sure no one should be fucking surprised. I'm upset because I had high hopes for this fucking thing. But it is the Big Show show.
We had high hopes for that. I saw the trailer.
Dude, this guy, the Big Show is actually a very, very fun person to watch and everything. By the way, Chad, what's up, JP, Brightburn, Yasuba fan, all you guys, and Marissa saying this is a collective list. I probably should have iterated that a little bit, but yeah, this is a list of basically our choices combined. And, mathematically corrected to a certain point where no one's choices are going over the other. So it's not like, oh, Nick's a host, so all his picks are going to be chosen. Not like that at all.
Also, we spent 5 hours if we had to do fucking everyone's top of everything. Like, are you serious?
Remember we did that for One of Us, and that shit was like fucking the whole goddamn day?
4 hours! That's not even a joke, by the way. Go look it up. They had to break it up into 2 parts.
Yeah, and most of it, we're just sitting here, and people are just like making jokes. I'm like, yeah, you guys, I gotta go eat lunch. I'm like, you better fucking hurry up.
I didn't eat that whole day.
Yeah, dude, that shit sucked. But the thing is, though, that was One of Us was great, though. Looking at the Big Show, though, the reason why I'm so upset about this show, because I did watch a couple of episodes. I didn't watch the entire thing, obviously. It's fucking impossible, especially when you hate something. And watching this, it's just like Big Show has shown that anytime he's on like a guest host on something, or like on, we want to be smarter than the 5th grade, or whatever the case may be, he's so charismatic. And in here, that charisma felt so like uncomfortable. Like he didn't want to do it. They even had other wrestlers come in here, and they all seem like upset that they're on the show. The family's okay. I don't mind the family. They seem to be kind of stoked that they're doing something with Big Show, but I would have liked Big Show's real-life family to be part of this. That would have been way more interesting, way more funny. And, yeah, at the same time, it's just kind of like, it's a missed opportunity, because that could have been really, really cool. But the next one, that was number 9 on our show/series. But you, Alan, I've never heard of this next one. This is called 000. It looks interesting. I mean, that looks like an intense scene right there. But yeah, dude, like, what is this show about in general?
Whenever I put something on Worst so people know, it's something that I just couldn't sit through. Like, I watch a lot of stuff, and I've watched a lot of garbage television shows. Someone brought up Gotham. I sat through all 5 seasons of Gotham. That show sucks. It was never good. But when it comes to, if you're boring me though, like, because Gotham was bad, but it could be entertainingly bad and frustratingly bad, but it kept me going. This, it's like, look, I love Narcos. I've seen the 3 seasons and the 2 seasons of Narcos Mexico. Like, I love that fucking show. So when I see a trailer that's like, hey, you want to see modern day stuff? Cool. I'm in.
Well, it looks shot well and it's Amazon Prime, and Amazon Prime been killing it, dude. So like this actually, I'm with you. I'm looking at this
there's
right
a lot
now.
of stuff. I love the drug Narcos type stuff. I love Amazon Prime originals. I hope Dave DeHaan wants to act this time. He doesn't. But it's just watching it, I'm bored out of my mind. I don't care what's going on. I don't care about any of the characters. The first episode's like an hour, and I think I got 40 minutes to do it before I'm just like, I'm done. I can't fucking do this. I'm gonna watch something more interesting because it bored the fuck out of me. So when I'm thinking of shows I just didn't like or would put on the worst stuff, I gotta go with shows I barely had the effort to finish, and this is one of them.
Yeah, that's what FanFan says. She couldn't take all the cuss on there. I hate that too, dude. I can't stand when like people are cussing and it almost sounds like young kids that just kind of like, oh, mom and dad are at home. Fuck, bitch, pussy. Like, just like, dude, come on. Like,
hey, we're
really?
talking about drugs, but we can do whatever the fuck we want. I'm gonna just fuck this prostitute and start sweating every 2 seconds. It's like,
yeah.
Do you really have to?
Yeah, no, that really sucks that this show wasn't, as good as it could have been, especially considering, Narcos being so popular, etc. But moving on. Number 7 is our next one, and that's going to be a movie or a show about. I'm gonna fuck up saying movie and show a lot with this particular one because this should have been a movie. And if Roxy was here, I think she would agree with me big time because we watched this on the same day. Ju-on Origins. I'm not a big fan of J-horror, aka Japanese horror. I feel like it's very jump scary and it makes me feel uncomfortable. I like silly shit. I like American horror because there's, stupid people doing stupid things. It's kind of funny. It is what it is. But looking at this, I was like, okay, it's kind of creepy and there's lots of gore and blah, blah, blah. But when it's not doing gore, it's intense in other ways, like rape. Like,
I was gonna say, wait, is this best or worse? Did you confuse the list?
No, man, because the thing is like, there's parts of this that could have been really, really cool, and that's why it's not very, very like high on the shit list here. And it is what it is. But at the same time, it's like when you do a couple things that are cool, and the trailer, one of the things that I remember me and Jet and Roxy did a reaction to the trailer, and we were legitimately like, oh my god, this scary scene in here. But that lasts like fucking 3 minutes on one of the later episodes. Most of the other episodes is spending more time. It's people being upset over being raped. The rape itself takes way too much fucking screen time. Lots of people talking about things. Lots of brutal murders. Like, I'm gonna tell you guys, a baby gets killed. All right, like it's fucking yeah. And then like an embryo like comes and kills somebody after the baby gets killed and pulled out of someone's stomach, and it's a lot of fucked up shit. And
alrighty then, we're going Alien. Alien to Predator vs Predator Requiem levels up.
Yeah,
we got to be gory.
Yeah, and it's like, and gore's fine, because, you're going to get into. Do you're watching a J-horror fucking show, whatever. But, like, this is Netflix at the end of the day. And I thought that, maybe they were, maybe they had their hands within this and were like, hey, like, let's make a legitimate, really good show that everybody can fucking watch. But this is like, no, this is straight up for the super J-horror fan and someone who wants to watch some sick, disgusting shit. And I'm like, I'm good, man. This is too much. But moving on. We're all over here. This is number 7 on the worst of fucking list here. Number 6, though, is going to be Hunters. Man, I'm so shocked and upset that you think that this wasn't good. I didn't watch this, but Al Pacino's in here, dude, and it looked cool, it looked funny. What's wrong with this, man?
I think this is the show that really got me to just if I see Jordan Peele's producing something, I don't give a fuck. Like I was like, okay, again, Amazon Prime original, I love those. You said Al Pacino, cool as hell, cool trailer, cool premise, Jordan Peele. Okay, this should be a winner, right? This show doesn't know the tone it wants to fucking go. It has no fucking idea what it wants to do because the premise of the show is, and this was kind of based somewhat on two events. Like there was a rumored uprising of Nazi Germany in like the 60s or 70s. So this is the premise of the show. Basically, they're playing around with histories, but they're setting it in an interesting time period. So you're going through and you're dealing with the main character, and it's like, yeah, some shit happens to him that involves these, these Nazis that they go and attack his grandma. So he's trying to figure out what's going on. He's trying to figure out this shit to try to solve the problem, and he's super smart. So he joins up with Al Pacino and all that shit, and they find the guy, and he dies. They get him, and then Al Pacino's like, you want to join the Hunters? We're a ragtag group of people, and they have interesting characters. Like they got the one character, Roxy, who's from the Black Panther movement at the time, and you get all these cool characters in. And everyone takes a bunch of stupid pills because that first episode is intense. But the moment they start hunting down the Nazis, everyone acts like an idiot. The main character, whose grandmother survived the Holocaust only to get killed by a Nazi in the show, finds another, one of the Nazis that was using sound, basically did an American Idol, and every time they missed a note, he would shoot them. Horrible motherfucker.
Are you fucking... That sounds funny.
No. Like it was really intense the way they did it. Like he'd have them sing songs, and every time they fuck up a note, he'd shoot them. Like it was really fucked up torture. All he hears all this shit, and they start torturing him. He goes, "No, we can't torture." I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Like does a typical, "Oh no, we have to be better than them," and lets the guy go to only for him to damn near kill one of his friends. It's like, this kid is like, how are you this stupid? When it was a personal story, you're so okay with murder, but the moment it stops being personal, you want to act like the good guy. It's like there's no internal consistency to the characters. And it's not even the worst part of the show. The worst part of the show is it has no idea what tone it wants to do. Does it want to be extremely serious with dealing with the Holocaust and Nazis and a lot of gruesome murder? Or does it want to be the wacky 70s where there's sing-alongs and when they get high, they're fucking playing Staying Alive by the Bee Gees? It's like...
Yeah, because I'm looking at this, it actually looks like when I watch the trailer and everything too, and even this scene, I'm like, is this like a DC Doom Patrol or like an Umbrella Academy? Like, that's what I get the...
A lot of that. It's like Umbrella Academy. It's actually like it's actually like a Suicide Squad, but terrible. Or the Guardians of the Galaxy with a darker tone. But the problem is the dark tone is only there so that they can get like violence and torture. But as far as the actual characters, it's so confusing on what their stance is. And the tone of the show is so wild that it'll go from, like, again, horrible torture to sing-along dance number. They waste every single character on that screen. They waste them all. There's not a single... Even Al Pacino. Al Pacino is acting his ass off, but the script is so bad that there's a twist with this character halfway through. And I'm like, wow, that would have been interesting if I gave a fuck. Because I just stopped caring at that point.
Well, that makes sense why this is number 6 on the worst of list. But going to number 5 now. This is something I know for sure Alan didn't watch, but I know I watched. Fucking The Cabin with Burt Kreischer. So right now, as far as comedies or comedians go, this dude is kind of like my spirit animal. I love this guy, right? I love Burt Kreischer's Two Bears, One Cave show with Tom Segura, which is another amazing fucking stand-up comedian. Love those guys so much. I spend most of my free time watching them all the time. But I think that sometimes if people get too popular or they get too full of their own shit and have their own money, they kind of get a little extra relaxed with what kind of content they put out. And recently, there's a show called the Go Big Show that's going to be premiering next week where Burt Kreischer's a host and Snoop Dogg and Cody Rhodes and some other guys just watch crazy people do crazy shit. That's something that kind of makes sense for someone who's popular, blah, blah, blah. This show, however, it's him just chilling at a cabin eating fucking food and drinking wine and smoking cigars with Joey Diaz, with fucking Tom Segura that comes in there at certain points. And then, like in other episodes, he just feels like sitting down, I don't know what my problem is about drinking. I'm really anxious, and, I don't know what my problem is. And it's like, well, this is not even funny.
You be like that sometimes.
Say what?
It'd be like that sometimes.
It do be.
But wait, my
like that.
question is this an actual show or is this a comedy special? Like, what is this show?
Well, it's like a 6 to 8 episode show. It's on Netflix. But it's like reality TV, but kind of not like. And that's the thing. It's like I love this guy, and I laughed a couple times at this. But my problem with this, I feel, is like when people get too comfortable and they just start doing whatever the fuck. Like every comedian has this moment. Bill Burr had this moment too with certain things. I think that he had that moment with fucking the podcast when he was on Theo Vaughn's podcast. He just he gets so lost in his gimmick of talking shit, blah blah blah. It becomes trash. And it's something that you get bored of quickly. And Bert Kreischer. The dude's talented. He's been on the Travel Channel. He's done lots of crazy stuff. He likes doing outlandish stuff. But like on here, the outlandish stuff is like, killing an animal on screen, and then the blood goes everywhere. Yeah, dude. Like, well, not they don't kill it on screen, but like they rip it apart, like it's a bird or something.
That's fucked up. Yeah, really, this is supposed to be a comedy. Okay.
Yeah, but it's supposed to be funny because he's freaking out, like, oh god, guts and blood and intestines. But it's like, I mean, why are we watching it? Like, why is this a show? Why is this a show? Yeah. And then, once again, just the whole, like, using this show as a way to have fucking therapy. It's like, that's cool and everything, but, like, I don't really want to, like, sit here and ha it up. And the reason why he made this movie, or this show, by the way, is because coronavirus. I can't do stand-up, I can't do this. Man, 2020's bad. And I gotta tell you guys, one of the movies I was going to put on the worst of list that's not going to be there today is this thing that just came out, I think, a couple days ago called Death to 2020.
Oh, yeah, that movie, yeah.
And by the way, I'm so fucking sick of this. Anybody who doesn't have a personality, doesn't know what to talk about, 2020 is the only conversation anybody wants to have, and the coronavirus. I'm so fucking sick of the coronavirus. Like, the Domino's Pizza guy talked to me the other day. He's just like, hey, man, it's been a crazy year, huh? Pandemic, huh? It's like, yeah, it has, now that you fucking mention it. You motherfucker.
I never really thought about it until you just brought it up, random pizza man.
Yeah, like, dude, and like in the cabin, it's kind of a thing there too. It's like, yeah, we get it. Yeah, fucking life sucks. Let's move on. And speaking of moving on, this is definitely on number 5 on our worst of list. But
now that we got the 5, probably the next bunch are going to be really garbage fucking picks.
Yeah. But just before we continue on, I just want to let you guys know that I still recommend you checking out any kind of Bert Kreischer stand-up stuff, whatever. The guy's hilarious. He's a great guy too. I share a birthday with him, so obviously I'm going to have biases. But he does a lot of great stuff. This is just not one of them. But moving on, number 4, my bad. Raised by Wolves. This looks ridiculous by this fucking image, bro.
But don't worry, it's made by your boy Ridley Scott.
Oh, god damn it.
Fuck Ridley Scott.
Damn
I don't care. You know what? Gladiator's boring. Yeah, I said it.
No, it is. It is boring. It's boring. It's
boring as fuck.
Why are they dressed like Gumby?
Oh, yeah. I'll get to it. First Alien? Good. James Cameron made a better Alien movie. Go eat a dick. What else? I mean, shit. Has he done anything else fucking better? Like, fucking Blade Runner? What's his face? Dales Villeneuve made a much better fucking movie than you. Ridley Scott is terrible. He's not that fucking good. Every single thing he made, someone made a better version of. Raised with Wolves, like, well, hey, let me work on TV show, right? Let me take my ideas and make a, almost alien type show on TV show. This first episode was so fucking stupid. It's supposed to be this weird near future where atheists and like Christians had a fucking war, and I guess the Christians fucking won, but then they all made androids, and the entire thing is that these androids are trying to find like a new planet. So they send the atheists send the androids to raise a bunch of kids on this planet, but because they're androids, they're terrible at raising kids, so all the kids are slowly getting killed off. By the way, this is the first 5 minutes. I've only watched one episode. So there's 10 minutes of kids dying in random stupid ways because these fucking androids are so bad at being parents. But they're like, no, we have no emotion. We never get angry. We never get upset, yada, yada. I mean, that might be a problem. You never show any affection either, you fucking androids. And then it's so unbelievably dull. And then the main character shows up. And the only reason I'm watching the show is because the main, I guess, villain was on Vikings. He was Ragnar Lothbrok, and he was a great actor there. So I'm like, he'll be great here. Oh my fucking God. Everyone in this show has no emotion. Everyone in the show is so dull. And then once it gets to the end of the episode, you're like, well, how are you going to continue the series? She just gets godlike powers and starts vaporizing people in the funniest way possible. She starts screaming at them and they just explode like they're a balloon. What? Not like blood and guts everywhere. It's like this red ribbon and that's it. I'm like, this show is so stupid. Everything about it is terrible. Characters are getting random superpowers for no fucking reason. I have no idea where this show's going to go, and I stopped caring. I watched one episode. I'm like, I'm done.
Dude, I don't blame you because that sounds fucking awful. And I like Ridley Scott. I like some ideas. Even the shitty stuff that he does. I'm like, oh, well, that was a cool concept. But this sounds fucking awful. These suits are awful. Like, dude, like, you gotta consider that, you know, most people that when they watch stuff on TV, at least, they're not people that are very internet privy. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, oh, that looks like an interesting show, blah blah. Imagine watching TV and then this comes up and they got these fucking suits on. It's like, dude, do what Star Trek and Star Wars wish they could have done and have better fucking outfits or attires. Like, you guys look worse than Star Trek, and you had a choice to avoid looking as fucking even comparable to Star Trek. Fucking yikes. Number 4 on our worst of list, but we're gonna go to number 3 now. And I bet you're gonna lose your fucking mind on this. Umbrella Academy. People talk about this in a positive light all the time, Alan. So I'm not gonna say I disagree with you because I never watched this myself, and I think some people's popular opinions are shit. Explain to me why this is on your number 3.
Because in a year in which we had Doom Patrol come out and do a second season, that was fucking phenomenal. It's probably the best. Like, I'm not sure where I pretty much put it really near the top because I don't think there's a show that came out in 2020 that's better than Doom Patrol. And the reason I'm bringing up Doom Patrol, starting up this discussion, is because the first season of Umbrella Academy aired the same time, and it became a conversation about the change of how we view superhero shows. Because I don't know if The Boys came out yet. I think The Boys was also coming out at the same time or months later. But it basically came to this discussion of how do we want to change the superheroes on television? Because we're not just going to keep doing the same stuff that Marvel and DC is doing. We want to tell more of a different meta narrative. So Doom Patrol focused on, well, let's actually focus on mental illness, depression, for instance, and what it's like to be, upset. But when it came to Umbrella Academy, it's like we're going to be a bit more wacky, a bit more crazy, and a bit closer to comics where weird shit happens. People have weird powers, and it's not the typical cookie-cutter X-Men stuff. And both shows gained their popularity. And I love season 1 of Umbrella Academy. I thought there was only really 1 or 2 characters that were interesting, but everyone else had something to do. This season just drops the ball so fucking hard. Because you had a brilliant season finale with Umbrella Academy to them just to get fucking sequelitis where, hey, the first season, you had a week to save the world. Well, what's the second season about? The same thing, but we're in the 70s. And what's the thing here? Well, we have to actually stop JFK from getting shot because that triggers the end of the world. Oh, no, wait. We actually have to have him get shot because stopping it triggers the fucking end of the world or some stupid shit. And it's like, well, hey, what are we going to do with all these characters? We need to get something to do. We're just going to throw them on wacky adventures that have nothing to do with the main fucking plot.
This motherfucker is so wacky. I am...
No. The worst part about this is they throw all the character development out the window. That character right there is acting identical to the way he did in season 1. But what they did with that character in season 1 is he's a drunk idiot who doesn't care about life because he sees the dead all the time and they bug him all the time. So he's like, I don't give a shit about anything. He's a drunk idiot. But then he, because time travel is also a thing in this show, he gets a device that can time travel you to wherever and actually gets stuck in the Vietnam War. And we don't see that. But he comes back essentially a different character because he's been in the war. He's seen Vietnam. Vietnam was fucked up. And it made him a better character. He became more sympathetic. He actually started to care a lot more. And he started to feel for him because he went through something extremely traumatic. They just throw that out the window immediately in the first fucking episode. And you're just like, well, he's back to being an idiot. And it's like, okay, well, hey, we have an African-American female lead. Well, what are we going to do with her? Well, because we're setting this in the 60s, 70s for some fucking reason, she just joins into a fucking civil rights movement and just starts a civil rights movement in the fucking time period. I'm like, that's interesting, but this has nothing to do with the main plot at all.
Yeah. And I saw that scene too, and I thought that was cool because there's a part where she's running around like a city, like a grocery store, or whatever, and everyone's like, what the fuck? And I'm like, that's cool, but it's like, man, can we please have black people in some comic thing that's not like, hey, well, she's black, so we might want to use, like, some kind of, like, controversial whatever fuck thing. It's like, that's not the only thing you can do. Like, it's almost like with wrestling, how every black guy has to be in a tag team together, or they have to be in a feud with each other. It's like, you guys can mix, like, it doesn't have to.
In the first season, she was great because they had her as kind of, she has a cool ability. Basically, she can kind of, she says a certain phrase, and people could do whatever they want. It's like, oh, no, I heard a rumor. And when she starts that phrase, she can control someone. So it's like, I heard a rumor you gave me $10 or some shit. And the guy would just give the money. So it's a really cool power. And in the first season, she actually used it to become like a star and all that shit. She's an actress. She used it for her own game. So she's very vain. So in the second one, it's like, well, no, she now has to fight for somebody else. And it's like, look, I get it. It's set in the 60s. You have to acknowledge that, well, black people have never been treated properly, especially
it's still not
when you go back in time.
Yeah.
But it got to the point where it's like, if you just cut her entire story arc out of that season, it amounts to nothing at all. No development at all, even. So it's just like, why? The only character that actually does anything in the show is Five. He's my favorite character. He's like the best kid on TV right now because they're just letting him do whatever the fuck he wants. But this show dropped the ball so fucking hard that I don't want to see season 3. Like, I don't care anymore.
Yeah, and looking at, you know, what we got up next, I gotta tell you, like, this is bad, and I'm pretty sure that, like, we agree. Like, if I watch this, I'd probably agree with you. But there's not a lot worse than what this piece of shit fucking show is.
Oh my god.
Space Force? You fucking waste of my fucking time.
It was only 20 minutes the first episode, and I never watched another one.
Oh my god, the fucking jokes here, dude. Like, I don't even know what they were trying to do here. For one, look, I get it. You know, Steve Carell, ha, The Office, Michael Scott, whatever. The shit gets fucking old, man.
It was so fucking weird because they had this running joke that I guess they thought was hilarious, where the guy's like, the whole, hey, somebody in your office. There's someone in your office. Oh yeah, he's in your office. They did that like 5 times in like one episode. I'm like, This isn't funny. Or the guy's like, I need to tweet about this. Tweet. I'm like, who's laughing at this?
And who wrote this? Like, I mean, you should be able, like, especially in 2020, you should fucking be able to, like, conjure up an idea of how people are going to respond to that. And like, oh, they're not going to like that fucking joke. Or, oh, like, that sounds like some shit that's just for kids. We're going to have enough stuff in here that's not just for kids. So no one is fucking happy. It's shot well, too. It's like Netflix put money on this fucking thing.
Well, because they assumed they told it as a, hey, we're going to have Steve Carell back. It's going to be, you know, the writers of The Office. But the thing is they have all the right pieces there. But the thing is, I don't know what they wanted to really do, because they want to essentially make fun of the idea of a Space Force, and they could have made it work. But what made The Office interesting and one of the better, I guess, comedies is they made it a real show first, because it's at the end of the day, there's plots per episode. It's very Seinfeld-ish, but they got away with the humor being stale because they're trying to emulate real life. These characters are all cartoons, so this doesn't feel real. This doesn't feel like a real thing, and that's what they're going for. This whole thing's a farce. But the problem is the jokes are so bad that you're just like, why am I watching this?
And Daniel Lucio is saying I only saw 15 minutes of it. It's so fucking bad. My parents thought it was funny. Yeah, dude. And here's the thing. Like, I can imagine that some people probably find this funny that just like that type of writing. And that's cool, dude. Like, I'm not going to say you're an idiot for watching this or anything. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't understand. And this is just a me thing. It's just like maybe I like more crazy or more like intense jokes where they're kind of dark. And this does have dark jokes too, and they still don't work. So I don't know.
I don't know, because like the thing is, for me, I'm the opposite. I really don't like dark humor. I like more of a real life humor, like jokes that might happen to you. Like again, we're not watching Curb Your Enthusiasm. Like, how often is anything on that show happen to you? You watch Office, like, yeah, you have some stupid bullshit that happens there. I've worked in multiple different fucking places like that. It's like, yeah, you have those personalities. This, it's just a bunch of fucking. It's like every single character that is on screen right now is like a fucking the worst character in any given comedy. But they just put them all into one show, so everyone's trying to be the funniest person in the room, but nobody's funny. So it's just a bunch of bad comedians telling bad jokes for however long I watched this. Man, it was just the fucking worst.
And this would have been our worst. But because and the two people that are responsible for this fucking thing that I'm about to show right now. The two people responsible for are not here today. They're on vacation. But man,
I know what you're gonna pick.
One more chance. Oh, you fucking piece of fucking shit. Ganja.
Now hold on.
Nah.
Are you arguing with us?
No, I'm not. I just want to say I agree.
Okay. God damn it, dude.
I'll let you go, Nick, first, because I only watched maybe an episode, so you've seen a bit more than I have.
The thing is like, and this is an issue I have for everything. This is where me and Jay are probably gonna fight with each other, like a legit fight too, probably, because this is the thing where I just like, how can I say this? Everyone nowadays in 2020, and Jed's someone who actually reels me in, because sometimes I'll be saying what people in the chat would say, some Fox News Nick shit. But, like, everyone's really sensitive nowadays about, hey, don't talk to women like this, this joke's not funny anymore, you can't say the F word, you can't do this, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, this show is so fucking comfortable thinking that it's from fucking 2005 that they have a gay guy in here that they constantly go, ew, he's gay, but he wants to have a chance with Chance, blah, 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 oh, he's stripping, oh, gay guys are gross, right? And then the fucking women. I swear to God, and Yasuba and anybody that's female in here, I apologize. But looking at this, I almost get why some dudes just don't treat women right. Because if this has anything to do, like, the amount of people that watch this shit, that are just like, oh man, that's how I talk to women, that's how I do whatever the fuck. It's like, This is a problem, and these women are cool with it. Look at that fucking line of women, those brainless fucking chicks. They're just like, we're gonna shake our ass, and we're gonna have people fucking like talk shit to us and make fun of us and say, girl, you're too fat. Girl, show me more titty. Okay, I guess I will. I just want to be on TV and suck your dick. It's like, what the fuck is this? What is this?
It's a remnant of the fucking back in the early 2000s, because you brought it up. It's a remnant of the idea of like, we're having this main guy who for some fucking reason has all this appeal. And I remember watching this yelling going, so why do they want to be with him? I mean, he's rich. Like, he's not rich. He has, money. He's like, he has no money. He's like, is his house right? No, he's renting it. It's like, so why do they want to be with him? It's like, oh, exposure. So I'm like, okay, so you managed to find a bunch of attractive, albeit idiotic women who for some fucking reason think this will boost their career. And it's like, look, I can get past that because fuck it. There are a bunch of people that just will do anything for a fucking career. I get it. It's the name of the game. I can't stand the constant fucking disrespect, the constant way the camera fucking showcases the fucking how these women are treated, because you have this main guy who's literally just treating them like they're fucking pieces of fucking meat, showing them absolutely zero fucking respect, and just basically propping himself up like he thinks he's P. Diddy. And it's like, bro, you have no fucking idea what's going on. And watching this, it's like I'm offended for every single fucking person on screen right now. And it got to the point where it's like, this is just insulting everybody, and it's like, I don't know how the fuck people can watch this. Because people watch it like, oh, it's so bad, it's good type of shit. Or it's like, I'm glad I'm not them. But it's like, this shit is incredibly fucking offensive. It is just like Jersey Shore. But Jersey Shore, I don't know if it's still around, but it's one of those things where it's like you watch it and it's like, yes, people like this exist. I'm not going to deny that people like this don't exist. Everyone does this. But the fact that there's a platform for it, the fact that the only way you can get this is through a paid, this isn't on Netflix. This is its own fucking subscription service. Yeah, whatever the fuck Zeus is. So you have to go out of your way to fucking find this. It's a
$10 budget.
No, this should not fit into your fucking budget.
Cameras for a decent budget, but it's just one of those things where it's demeaning to every single person on there. Everyone on there gets treated like they're nothing but whatever they're wearing or whatever their attributes are, whatever the muscle, fat, whatever the fuck is going on. That's all they're treated as. And anytime they want to do something slightly more, slightly interesting, it just gets disregarded. And it's like, you are not supposed to fucking be treating like this people at all. But somehow we managed to regress this. Like the fact that this show existed, because I thought this was just some old shit from back in then. I'm like, yeah, there are 100 shows like this. The fact that this is this year, it's like, what the fuck? Yeah, the producers here are.
And keep in mind, this is after like the Harvey, because like obviously this was filmed probably before 2020. But at the same time, though, it's like there's been a whole
this was filmed in 2020.
Like before pandemic or like.
It was because during the auditions, people were spaced out and wearing masks.
Jesus Christ, dude. So on top of everything, let's go ahead. Fuck the coronavirus. Like that's the thing. People are always talking about like, oh, what political party is done with the virus. I'm pretty sure that these girls, being the color that they are, probably don't like Trump, and they're just as fucking dumb as the people who do. Like, you're gonna go over here and risk getting sick because you want to shake your fucking ass. And there's parts where girls are shaking their titties and ass up in the dudes' faces. In their fucking faces. And then they're like, I don't like that shit. Move on, girl. It's like, they're like sheep. Just hoary sheep.
It's like, I'm not even necessarily mad at them because it's like at the end of the day, they're trying to get something out of it. I'm mad at the fact that the show exists because you have this main guy who, I call him, the guy from Sorry to Bother You, but really ugly. It's like, imagine you got that guy. Yeah, just get that guy, but make him way fucking uglier. And I'm like, I don't understand. This entire show is to prop up that dude, and I hate him because this entire show only exists because he exists. So it's like you're further demeaning these women because at the end of the day, a lot of them, Jeff was saying, a lot of them are professional strippers. So it's like, okay, it's a job, so they can go and get paid as per pay. This is all free, so they're just being used just so that they can keep the show going in subscription. So they're not getting any money from this or very little, and it's like. You are demeaning these women by treating them like pieces of meat, and that's the name of the game. When it comes to these fucking shows, 20 fucking years ago, you might want to upgrade. But like, you're just getting hard on. That's all you get the most out of anybody here, and it's fucking ridiculous that I sat through like an hour of this shit.
Yeah, so we'll move on from this, guys. But I'm telling you, like, I'm gonna put it on this fucking screen one more time. Worst show of fucking 2020. One more chance, and please, like, when people have your comments talking about fucking like, hey, like, treat women with respect and this, that, and the other, can you please say that to these motherfuckers who literally got investors and people to spend money and people want to watch this shit on Zeus and blah blah blah? Because I gotta tell you, dude, that's one of those fucking things where I hate hearing people that do talk about. Sometimes people virtue signal and shit like that, and yet they'll spend their money and their time watching this and then do it for laughs, like, ha ha, that shit's crazy. It's like. Yeah, it's a little bit as crazy as when it
Wait,
happens in real
hold
life.
on there. Guys were doing the same thing with I Love New York. Let's not do that.
No, New York was
No,
bad too.
Jet is correct. The Jet is correct. It does go the other way around. It's not as often because guess what? I'm assuming more people watch this show than I Love New York, or at least these kinds of shows. Really?
No.
People watch I Love New York?
Oh, I Love New York is iconic.
I'm not saying it's not iconic. I'm talking about the numbers.
Yeah.
No, the numbers were way better with I Love New York. People barely even know this one came out.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, then that's our bad. But at the same time, it's just like, you know, I know you enjoyed that back in the day, and back in the day was cool. But like, are we not gonna like cancel everything they did, how they treated New York, how New York treated other people, the Flavor Flav stuff? Or we're not gonna. I mean,
Well, New York was never wrong. Let's get that right now.
I guess it is what it is.
It was back in the early 2000s, so there's only so much I can go back. Like that was literally all reality television, all the fucking time. So it was just a staple at the time. But at the end of it, is like when we look back, it's not like we don't say that. Oh well, you know that's how it was. It's like no, we learned, and I like to think we did. And then this show fucking comes out. I'm like, this fuck. Sometimes I think people don't learn anything.
And to definitely go into more of a positive light, we are going to talk about the best shows series now. And, you know, I feel almost ashamed that I'm going to pair this right next to what we just talked about. But tell me about fucking Perry Mason, man. Number 10 on our best shows of 2020.
I wasn't sure I was going to watch this because the main actor here, I've never really liked him in anything. Like, I tried to watch The Americans, and I'm just like, I thought the show was boring. And so when I see him and stuff, I'm like, I really don't care for him. But buddy of mine, Ruthless, is like, hey, you like detective and mysteries and shit like that. You check the show out? I'm like, I don't know. And I watched the first episode. I'm like, this is very noir. It's very like because it's set in like the 30s or 40s, so it's like it's a period piece, and I generally like that time period a lot because I like the glitz, the glamour, and I like the dirt when it comes to how people are dealing with the crime and stuff. Everyone is dressed sharply, but like when it comes to the criminal element, everyone's really interesting, and the fact that you don't have any phones or anything that can communicate, it makes every single thing a lot more tense. So watching this show, I'm like, I wasn't really digging it at first, but the mystery kept getting interesting because it's very dark. By the way, I want to point out, I'm recommending this show. Everything on the 10 list is a recommendation. This show's extremely dark. It's not for the faint of heart. This isn't something you bring the fucking family over. This is something that you watch. It's on HBO. I highly recommend it, but it's extremely dark. And I'll say the premise of it, they're trying to solve the murder of a baby.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, they play this perfectly. Like they play this as serious as you expected. It gets really dark really quickly, but they keep it at that tone because it sucks. This stuff does happen, unfortunately, and you can tell the main character at first was like he's hesitant to even go in there, but then after a while you can see why he never wants to let it go because it's like a kid died. Like you're not like it's frustrating as fuck watching the show because you're like you want him to win, but he's losing so often that it's like if he just gave up, you'd almost understand it. But when he keeps fighting, like, okay, good, because what the fuck's happening?
Yeah, man. But no, I do want to check this out at some point. I've seen people talk about this in a good way, and I've been watching this other show called Your Honor, and this kind of reminds me of it. So, and I do enjoy the unapologetic truth that this fucking show wants to like uphold. So, fuck yeah, that's really cool, and I totally understand.
Oh, and Brightburn just asked in the chat, is it as dark as True Detective? It's about the same level. I'd say it's a little bit darker because it's legitimately trying to go noir, and noir is a very specific type of tone and plot for a show. So I'd say it's a little bit, but it's about the same as True Detective Season 1.
So now time for number 9, and this was actually on HBO. This is actually original that they did, but this is McMillions. So I don't know if you guys remember this, and this is actually I
heard about this. I am curious to see what you're gonna say about it.
Yeah, because I think it's been 20 years since this whole thing happened, so it's kind of funny that this particular documentary came out. But McMillions. So I don't know if you had this in Canada, but at McDonald's, do you have the Monopoly thingy every once in a while?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they had the. It's like I don't know if it's yearly, but it feels yearly.
Yeah, dude. So basically, back in the day, they were doing the whole like if you get boardwalk in a Park Place, you get like fucking $1 million or some shit like that, or a new car.
Yeah, a lot of money. Yeah.
And the thing is it was all legitimate for McDonald's, but the thing is they outsource these particular type of gameplays or whatever, right? Or these little things. And somebody who was involved with the mob was somehow connected with this outsourced company to put these out, and he was like, hey, I'm gonna make me some fucking money. So what he decided to do was he knew where the boardwalk thingies were, and he would collect them and he would give them out to other people, but he'd be like, hey, so obviously you're gonna win a bunch of money, but I want a big part of that fucking money. Like I want 75% of it. The problem is though is that as it happens to another person, they fucked up and started doing it to family members, relatives, and good friends, and even people that were married. So because of them doing this, Eventually, you know, people are gonna fight or not like each other, blah blah. Lots of drama happens. Lots of people are actually wondering, like, hey, what the fuck? Like, I want more money and blah blah. And I'll tell somebody if you don't give me more money, Mister Guy that's involved in blah blah blah. So this shit actually gets sent out to a police or to the FBI, and the guy that's actually doing the detective work or whatever is actually someone who none of the FBI guys like. So he's not getting a lot of help looking into this stuff. But this is basically discussing all the crazy shit to the point where people died.
Wait, what?
People died.
Okay, 'cause I heard a bit about this where it's like, yeah, for a good like 6 years, all of the winners were frauds.
Yeah, every single winner. And the fucking thing that was crazy about this is like it got to a point where they couldn't even prove shit. Because every time they got one step forward into solving this case, either a murder happened, either someone got robbed, people were held ransom. There was somebody who didn't even want to fucking be involved in this. She's like, I don't want no money. I don't need no money. I'll just keep working. And they're like, no, bitch, you're going to fucking do it. They forced her to do it. This is an amazing limited series. Because there's not going to be a season 2 or anything, obviously. But God, dude, and the episodes are long, but you might be like, okay, an hour per episode might be fucking ridiculous. Dude, it goes by so fast that you're almost like, oh shit, the episode's over? What the fuck?
I definitely heard about this because I know that I think Matt Damon and Ben Affleck wanted to make a movie about this. I don't know if that's still in the works, but like this was a nuts story.
Yeah, dude, and it's real as fuck, and I remember it. I remember this shit very, very clearly from my childhood. So yeah, guys, obviously the Monopoly McDonald's thing is still going on today, and you know you might win, so try. But moving on, surprised that this came up, dude. I didn't even know they had a new season. But Agents of Shield, this is number 8 on our best shows of the year. Explain to me why this is up here on the list, man.
Well, simple. This was there's a lot of shows that came out this year that were finales, and which always makes me sad as much as I think a show should end. And this redeems the last season because I remember I love Agents of Shield. To me, Agents of Shield, it was one of those shows along with the CW verse that proved to me that television is a much better medium for telling stories, especially in the superhero genre. Because if for people that don't know what Agents of Shield are, basically this is supposed to be the ground troops, the people that help out the Avengers. And the first season was really shaky because they're telling this as, hey, when the Avengers are doing their shit, we're there to help. The problem is it didn't always work out that way because they're so busy chasing the coattails of the movies that they could never tell their own stories with their own characters. And people started to fall off of it. But then, and again, you can mark this down. Captain America Winter Soldier comes out. And the plot of that is that Hydra infiltrates S.H.I.E.L.D. So, and now you're watching a show called Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Well, they have to acknowledge that, right? Mm-hmm. They use that as an opportunity to essentially, and I call this, they reboot the show mid-series. Because now that they could basically say, by the way, we don't know who's good or who's bad, we can just redo the whole show. We can do whatever the fuck we want. So one of the characters that's been like almost the main character, best guy here, turns out he's super evil and like really evil, like damn near kills half the cast type evil.
Wow.
And starts fucking with them. And after that, they became their own show, became one of the best shows on television.
Dude, that's actually really fucking cool because I'm like, I always felt like there was a safeness to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that I didn't really like. I was like, I don't think you guys would be willing to like make some really big moments happen because obviously it's on ABC or you know wherever it's regular TV. Yeah. But no, that's fucking badass that he killed like numerous people. Like it's fucking awesome.
He does a lot of fucked up shit and he becomes a recurring villain for a good portion of the series. But after that, because of the Hydra and Captain America stuff, they essentially got a chance to branch out and just do whatever they want. So they told their own stories. And season after season after season was telling great fucking stories. The problem is they go to space and they stay there and they lose the groundness. They lose the on the ground that made them really interesting. So I fell off at season 6, but then season 7 comes in, it's the finale, and I'm sad because as much as the show has its faults, I love it. So season 7 comes in, every episode is a banger. Every single one is emotional, filled with action, goes to an interesting time period because they're time jumping from future past, all that stuff. And they're trying to get their people back. They're trying to figure out what's going on. They're trying to stop these essentially, basically almost Terminator-esque robots. And almost every episode has a cool gimmick. Either it's a reference to a movie or there's some interesting stuff going on. And every character gets great development. There's great action scenes. There's great villains. It ties back to the original show, and it ends on a pretty good fucking note. So it's like, as far as the whole season, it is fantastic, and it ends on a brilliant note that it's going to make me sad that we're never going to see another show like this.
Yeah, unless I do some kind of like spinoff or whatever. But yeah, dude, I totally get why this would be so high on your list. But moving on, there's another show that I did not see coming at all. Alice in Borderland, man.
I added this in like 2 days ago because I finished it in 2020. I'm like, I'm putting this right in.
Yeah, dude. And by the way, he also doesn't like to do this thing where he puts shows that he just watched on a list or a top 10 list because, recency bias and everything. And for you to put that up here, I feel like if this came out way later and you watched it way later, you would have put this like top 2. Like
it would have been way higher. This replaced the thing is the reason I put this on there. It wasn't to quote unquote break my rule because it was so good. It was because the show that was quote unquote there, I only watched 1 episode, and I was like, it was okay. I was having trouble filling the list because like I watched a lot of stuff, but I didn't watch enough to fill a top 10 list. So when I watched this, I'm like, oh no, this came out a while ago. So it's like, yeah, even though I just watched it, I digested enough to put it right into a spot where it might have been empty or a show that it's like, well, 1 episode was okay type shit. So putting it right in, and this was fantastic. We haven't had a chance to review it yet, so I'll save my full thoughts there. But this is one of the shows where it went places that I didn't expect. It did a lot of interesting stuff with the death game that usually when you see death games, they're like everyone's an asshole and they're out for themselves. But this show focuses so much on people working together, and it was so refreshing. Where it's like, yeah, you still have people that are going to be in it for themselves, but everyone at the end of the day understands that if they don't work together, they die. And that was such an interesting take on it that it made me really appreciate the show, because as much as it's going to be people getting knocked off, at least it's not because of stupid shit. Because you watch like The Walking Dead and it's like, why are people killing people? We have literal monsters walking around. Why the fuck are we going to war with some random dude down the street? Like, are you fucking kidding me? This is like, no. We need to fucking work together to solve this problem, to get to these adventures. And every single time they go through the games, it's very interesting. It's very well done. It to the extent where I would die at every single one.
Yeah,
I ain't that smart.
And Jed, I gotta ask you, what'd you feel about this show? I know you only watched like 2 or 3 episodes, but I mean, I feel like we're having a good time watching it. Like, what'd you feel, Jed?
Like I said, it was pretty interesting, although that first episode with that puzzle was just kind of like, okay, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, do you know the exact inches of a fucking BMW off the top of your head?
No, but wait, Alan, he plays video games. He would know. No,
I play video games.
But no. The thing is, when I was first watching this, I felt like, oh, it was going to be a comedy or whatever. And plus, too, like, I didn't like the fact that they started saying certain things about the main character, like, oh, his mom's dead, or oh, you're a loser. And I'm like, oh, well, he's going to be the guy who's amazing. And when they get rid of characters, I'm not going to say whether that's death or not death or whatever the case may be, there's things that happen on this where you need to take a fucking minute to go walk outside. Like, this shit gets so intense that it literally has your stomach going back and forth, like how I felt with Uncut Gems. There are some very, very emotionally taxing fucking moments here. And because of that, I gotta say, like, yeah, this is one of the best fucking shows I've seen on Netflix, and it makes me want to watch more things that are not in English, because I'm gonna be honest, guys, I'm one of those assholes where, unless it's anime, I don't like to watch it with subs. I didn't watch The Platform because it wasn't the right language, or my language. Sputnik. Sputnik was another movie that apparently people loved, but it's another language, so I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna watch that. This, I gave it a shot, and now I want to give more of these things a shot. So if you guys have any suggestions in the chat, make sure to let me know. But moving on, this one, I'm surprised that not everybody's doing this. I think everyone forgot how trendy it was. But Tiger King, number 6, is going to be on our list.
I forgot that came out this year.
Yeah, and Tiger King took over the fucking world. And here's the thing. Lots of people will probably try to be a contrarian, saying, like, that show wasn't as good as what everyone was saying. It's like, you're probably right. But for a show about fucking tigers, it was incredible. Like, it was fucking amazing. And that's why it took over the internet. Me, personally, I think the story that wasn't even in the movie is more interesting. I think that sometimes when I would hear about, fucking, I forgot his name, Joe Exotic, he was saying, like, some racist shit, like, those things kind of coming out, like, a week after this came out, you would want to, like, keep learning about it and then rewatching stuff, And I think that's kind of why this show kept living on. But what did you feel about it, man?
It was very overhyped because I actually avoided watching it because it took over the internet. But it was everywhere. Tiger King this, Tiger King that, Carol Baskins. Like, the memes were just flooding the internet. And when that happens, I just clock out because I'm like, look, I'm not gonna say the show's good or bad, but as soon as it's the talking point of the internet, you just deal with it. And it's so fucking annoying hearing it every 2 seconds that I just avoided it. But then I just sat down and said, fuck it, I'll watch it. And I love documentaries. I really started, like, not as much as Ganja, because Ganja loves the fuck out of them, but I really like where it's like, yeah, this is just real stuff. We have people talking to cameras, we're telling these stories of real shit that happened. But I do have a problem with the first bit, because like the first 10 minutes kind of gives you like these little signposting of what's gonna happen, like the big events. And I felt like I got spoiled immediately. Where the big shit happens, like murder for hire and like dead and all that stuff. It's so fucking like that was so cool. But them sprinkling it out, the in between wasn't as interesting, except for a couple moments. But it was interesting, kind of just seeing where they're gonna go and just watching that this weird world that no one knew existed, and to the extent where I actually even heard about this dude prior to the show because they actually bring up John Oliver last week tonight talking about this guy.
Yeah,
and I remember watching that episode. I was because he talked about it's like John Oliver was doing a third party. He's like, hey, check out these third parties, and he brings up Joe Exotic. And I was just laughing, like, what the fuck? That's kind of crazy. So when it came back and they showed that episode, I'm like, oh, yeah, I've already been here.
Yeah, man. And by the way, E-Mike, I'll answer this really quick, but I just want to let you know that if you have more stuff to ask us in bits, I'll make sure to answer them at the end of the show. So whatever you send over, man, just so you know, I'm not going to forget them. But over here, he says, I heard from the internet that Lucasfilm is calling Star Wars fans unimportant. They suck. Your thoughts? I think that Lucasfilm knows they're pissing people off. I think that they know that it's like, man, these fans, because for one, they do suck, by the way. I agree with them. Fucking Star Wars fans are annoying as fuck.
A little bit.
But the thing is, like, they're already so obsessed with this fucking franchise like it's a goddamn religion. They're not going to go anywhere. They're just going to get mad and talk on the internet about it, and then fucking Star Wars is going to be trending tomorrow. So they know what they're doing. But what do you think about that, Alan?
Not really. I think when you're like, I get that people don't like Star Wars fans do this, but they're the guys that are paying your bills. So it's like, you can only get so, like, you call them out when they're saying death threats and racist shit, of course, but like, saying that the fans kind of suck, it's like, bro, they're paying your bills.
Yeah. No, you know what? Yeah, that's true. I mean, you shouldn't be a dick no matter what. But you know what I mean? Just Star Wars fans. I don't know, man.
They're up there with some of the worst. Like, I'm not saying every Star Wars fan's terrible, but like the fucking image they have is probably one of the worst fan bases.
Yeah. No, and that's only they're only
not like us gamers.
But Jet, Tiger King, we watched this together, and I don't remember if you were like really wanting to watch it. I don't know if I had to like force you to or whatever. Like, what'd you feel about this originally, and even now, so many months afterwards?
I mean, I had fun with it when it came on. Like, a lot of the memes got old really, really quick. But I mean, watching it, it was entertaining as shit. You never know what the hell's gonna happen.
Yeah, man. But no, this is definitely, like I said, number 6 on our list here for anyone who's.
And basically, everyone in the entire show is a complete piece of shit. Besides maybe like 1 or 2 people.
Yeah.
One of my favorite memes to come out of there is like this one meme. It's like the Black Collective is thankful that it's just a bunch of crazy white people. There's no representation in the show.
Yeah. But no, man, like I said, I'm really, really shocked that I liked this because I was like, I don't want to watch no fucking thing about tigers, whatever, and like I did, and it was pretty cool, man. So once again, guys, that is Tiger King. Number this thing will actually show. Yes, number 6 over here on the best shows list. But moving on, I will try not to make fun of you. I swear to God, I won't make fun of you, bro. You know why?
You will. I know what's about to come next, and in fact, it's only 5. What the fuck is the rest of this list?
Yeah, Supernatural, son. Supernatural. This is one of your highest picks. I obviously didn't watch this shit because I got a taste. I'm just joking. But lots of people in the chat love this.
Walking Dead Beyond.
But no, man, tell people how much you love this fucking thing because you've made me want to watch it. Literally, like your love for this comes through so much that I want to check it out. But go ahead.
And this is another one like Agents of Shield where it's a finale, and this is one of those shows where it's like, you can keep a show interesting as long as you have a dedicated staff that has a lot of inspiration and you let them have fun with the show. Because the 15 seasons, it sounds like a crazy fucking amount because it's longer than Walking Dead. Walking Dead has ended at 11. This is 4 more seasons in that show. And it started beforehand, but it just started off where it's like, yeah, you have these actors that care about these roles. You have a world that this could have got old really quickly because it was a monster of the week where it's like, oh, a vampire, then a werewolf, then a zombie, then yada yada. But eventually, when it finished its original arc of 5 seasons, that's when the original creators said, I'm out. But the show should have died because that should have been the kiss of death. But they had so many interesting ideas. They added new monsters. They added elaborate more rules where it's like they kept the same rules, but that they kept adding more rules, how things were going to work. They kept doing more interesting stuff. So the show always felt fresh. And you're having the characters going through all this stuff and learning from their mistakes. Because what's one of the problems we always talk about is like the characters get stupider with every season. With these characters, like they get smarter and smarter. So when a threat happens, it's not the same solution. They have to come up with something more interesting. And with the final season, everything, like they literally are fighting God. And everything you think. It's like, well, God is omniscient, right? He is fucking within the entire show. So every time they think they win, he's like, no, I'll just let you win because fuck you. And then he would just kick them in the nuts again. And just because he's playing with them. So with the solution happens, you're like, that makes a lot of sense. And it's sad that the show's over because it's like there's nothing else they could have done. This show, they traded every square inch of this universe that nothing could have possibly been fixed or for another season. But I'm sad that it's over because that means this is the last time we'll ever see these characters. And every one of these characters has almost, if you the amount of episodes could almost be a season for just the one character if you took the screen time. Because of just how much they get to these characters. And everyone gets so well developed that you love everyone on the show.
Yeah, man. Like I said, one of these days I'll probably check this out. You know what I mean? If I don't, I might end up going to hell because I'm gay. So that'll suck. But no, guys, seriously, I think I should actually check this out. Most people are actually talking about the finale in a good way. That's kind of rare when it comes to shows, man. I mean, you didn't get that with Lost, you didn't get that with Sopranos, you didn't get that with... You're not going to get that with Walking Dead, I'll tell you that right fucking now. So, congratulations with Supernatural, and at least handed off fucking great.
Yeah, again, with season finales that we've had, the Game of Thrones and Lost, this one being like, hey, you know what? It didn't nail everything, but it nailed enough of it. I can live with this.
This next one, this is actually a limited series. I don't think there's going to be a season 2, but this is the Comedy Store. I love me comedy. I love stand-up comedy. I even brought that up earlier. We're talking about Brooke Crush and everything, but this was on Showtime, and I got to tell you guys really quick, Showtime is on the come-up. Showtime had Console Wars, which was a movie. It was a documentary movie. That was a big deal. People were talking about that a lot. It was very well made. And then, you know, as far as their shows go, they have Your Honor with Bryan Cranston that's going on right now. It's actually a new episode, I think, tonight. But the biggest thing here, too, dude, is just like, I really do love that with the Comedy Store thing, they talked about all the good and bad of the Comedy Store. This wasn't it was made out of love by Mike Binder, but they have Joe Rogan on here talking shit about the Comedy Store. Talking about, like, yeah, the reason why I did the Joe Rogan podcast is because these motherfuckers chose Carlos Mencia, who's stealing my jokes and fucking ruining my career, and they took his fucking side because Hollywood's a motherfucker and a piece of shit. And they talked about Mitzi, the person who created the Comedy Store, and how she fucked some of the comedians. That's how they got their spot. How everyone had to babysit her, son, Pauly Shore, who was an annoying fucking, piece of shit. You even got Bill Burr and Louis C.K. in here, and they talk about hating Mitzi, that they weren't good enough to even perform at the Comedy Store, and she was really shitty to them. David Letterman talking about, how this connects to the David Letterman show. So many of the early days of Richard Pryor, man. The women's comedy and how many great fucking female comics came out of this place. I love stand-up comedy so much. I think it's an art that I wish I was able to have talent to fucking do. And to see it kind of like, I don't know, I guess telescoped, through this fucking thing. It's just really beautiful to see, like, yeah, dude, like, they're like a community. And granted, like, it's probably more fucked up shit happening with comedy or whatever, but yeah, it's just nice to see this. I like this about, wrestling, horror, whatever. I like communities in their fandoms that are actually happy to be fans of it, unlike Star Wars. So, number 4 on best shows of 2020. But moving on, I didn't watch this either. Doom Patrol.
No. This whole list is shambles. What the hell is 1 or 2 that Doom Patrol is 3?
You'll see. Yeah.
I'm mad. This is the best. No. Fuck this list. Doom Patrol Season 2 is the best show to come out this fucking year. I don't care what the fuck the next list is going to be. The next 2 items. Because this is the best fucking show to come out this year. This is a superhero show that takes the actual concept of superheroes and does something interesting with it. Where it's like, hey, we're not just considering got to fight a giant beam in the sky or fight a bunch of random nobodies and whatever. It's like, no. We're going to go through and we're going to talk about what it's like to deal with trauma. What it's like to deal with depression. What it's like to not being able to move on. Because every character in this show is a different variation of being immortal. And at first, the first season, I was like, that was kind of, that I didn't understand that. But the way they nail it in the last season, it's like, yes, every single character has a different version of immortality, but every single character is dealing with a different version of a mental illness, where you have like the Crazy Jane who has like all these different personalities, so she has no idea who she really is, and she's struggling with that. You have the robot guy who you think would be just comedy, but it's like he can't touch, he can't feel, he can't taste, he can't nothing, and he's lost his whole life, so he's stuck inside of that metal tin. And he's dealing with that whole thing of like he has PTSD where he's like constantly like reliving his past, trying to get back to it, and he can't move on. You have all these characters that have all these interesting character arcs, and season 2 decides, you know what, we're not going to have a plot where we got to find somebody. We're going to give every character an episode to try to get them to get over that. And the best part is like, and there are people that we're not liking, because I know one guy, Daniel, your best buddy, he's like, this show is miserable. none of these characters move on. And it's like, yeah, even if you have 70 fucking years, it doesn't matter. If you can't move on, you can't move on. No amount of time is going to fix that. So when you're seeing these characters go through this, you want the best for them, because at the end of the day, they're trying to be good people. But you're just seeing this, and it could be very real for depending on if you're how much you relate to them. But the fact that they're willing to just like, no, we're not going to have some big giant demon fight. We're going to sit there and try to actually develop these characters. It got to the point where every episode was unique. Every episode felt like it was a structured, well-crafted story. So you got to see what was going on in this incredibly strange world. Like, if I were to explain to you some of the stupid shit that happens in this show, you would not believe me that this show is as brilliant as it is. Like, I remember watching the first season going, this is either the most brilliantly written show on television or written by a 4-year-old. Like, there's so much stupid shit. On top of this, there's this character in the show called the Beard Hunter. And his entire powers is that once he ingests the beard of a male, he can track them. He can tell what they're thinking. He can read their minds, and he tracks people like that. And they play it totally serious.
Jesus Christ,
It's the dumbest thing in the world, but it's serious.
But yeah, but that's Doom Patrol, guys. I mean, like I said, man. I just haven't had the time to watch
Okay, next.
No, because you agree with me on these other ones. It's a combination because I watched them too. But moving on, this is where I think that I'm gonna make Jet mad. But it's the boys. Sorry.
Fuck the boys. No,
the boys is the shit, bro.
No. Doom Patrol is way better than the boys. Yeah, I said it.
I mean, possibly, but the thing is we both saw this, and believe it or not, this is the strange thing, guys. We actually agree. What? Here's the thing, Jed. I'm gonna have you go ahead and start this off because you might be the one person that's not gonna be
that off
this
my list.
dick.
Hold on. Why are you going to me?
No, because the thing is
Not
like,
too bad. I'm not gonna fucking give him any shit.
I don't really care. I don't really care about this show.
well,
I don't hate it. I don't like it.
well, like my whole thing is like, I remember when we watched this, you were literally just saying like, yeah, this is fucking stupid. I don't like these characters. It's fucking gross. Lots of the villainy that's happening here is really fucking annoying.
Well, yeah, I was saying it wasn't for me because I don't really like these characters. I don't really care that you put it on your list.
Okay, well, I'm glad you don't care. But the thing is, like, the reason why I just wanted to bring you up in that sense or whatever is just because of the fact that it's like, for me, everything that was hateable about this, like, Huey doing the fucking most wrongest thing at all times because he's fucking annoying, or me just hating the fuck out of a villain. That's what you're supposed to do. It's back to the wrestling rules. Like, I want Homelander to get fucked up. I hate
Really?
this.
You know what I want from Homelander? To do something this season. Because season one, if you're talking about season one is fantastic. Where you manage to it starts off a little bit rough, but the characters start to grow and start to change in this world. This entire season, and Homelander's like the most like craziest person, where in the first season you have no idea if he's just gonna murder a room full of people or not. This season, I swear to God, he literally takes a back seat to everybody else while everyone just kicks him in the nut. Like Gus from Breaking Bad goes, yada yada, I'm businessman, and you have to sit down. And he goes, okay. And it's like, are you fucking serious? This is Homelander. Literally nothing can kill him. and after after the brilliant finale that the boys had, he literally does nothing interesting for like 90% of the fucking show. They focus on fucking Stormfront, who albeit is a very interesting character, and she's really hateable, and they managed to make the plot go and build the world a lot. But the problem is, a lot of the characters took a back seat. This took so long to get anywhere that it felt like it forgot the plot for some episodes. And honestly, as far as I'm concerned, like, is this a good show? Yes. Is this the best of the year? Fuck no. There are better shows that came out this year, and I hope season 3 is more focused, because this is an unfocused mess.
Okay, well, because
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit. Fucking Toga or Solidus. Doom Patrol's way better than this.
Oh yeah, no, you're probably right, but it's just like, I mean, I didn't see it, and I will say it's like I might disagree with you on here. It's like, at least I can say that we do agree, and it is one of those shows where I think most people would probably really like this. I didn't see a lot of people talk shit about this, except for people who are just not into this kind of thing. I'm not even into this kind of thing. I don't like The Boys. I don't like fucking comic books. I don't like any of this shit. But like, dude, this fucking welcomes you in. It's like, listen, do you like really funny shit? We got you. Do you like gory as fuck shit? We got you. Do you like honest superhero stuff? We got you. It's like, fuck yeah, dude. I love The Boys.
The show that talks about and deals with the personal conflicts and turmoil and depression. A show where everyone's an asshole. Wow.
I mean, I'm an asshole, so I probably would like the latter of the two.
The show's not less. I should take that off my list if I had the chance.
So, Chat, I'm gonna ask you guys, if you thought that Mandalorian was not gonna be number 1 in this fucking list, you are crazy. This fucking show is amazing.
Yes, it was. And it is better than The Boys, but Doom Patrol's the best show this year.
No way. Mandalorian, dude. Every fucking episode. Maybe, okay, the first one maybe not that great.
Except for 2. 2's the only bad episode, and only because it's a filler that goes nowhere.
But the thing is, like, it was building towards something cool, but, like, dude, everyone, the big fucking thing here is people complaining about that finale because, oh, the CGI is bad. It's like, yeah, but y'all motherfuckers are like, you know, like the CGI looks bad in that, but doesn't in all the other fucking movies. You gotta be fucking kidding me, dude. Like, I don't know.
Are you telling me this is better than Rise of Skywalker?
Thank you. Exactly.
Like, Rise of Skywalker is worse than this.
Yeah, and Mandalorian, dude, like, they actually decided to write off Baby Yoda. I thought they were gonna hang on that fucking baby for fucking ever. And they finally found a way to get rid of the kid. That's fucking great. By the way, goals. They had goals the whole time for fucking the kid. You know, Baby Yoda, Grogu, whatever the fucking name is. I fucking love the different types of storylines going on. I know everyone doesn't like Gina Carano, whatever the fuck her name is, because of all the shit she said on social media, but she did great on this show. Great fucking action scenes. Pedro Pascal, after watching Wonder Woman and how fucking awful he is in that goddamn
movie. It was not awful. It had bad lines, because that script is awful.
He is fucking terrible. I'm sorry. No, and he's also in We Can Be Heroes, by the way, too, and he's terrible in that.
We Can Be Heroes?
Yeah, he's a superhero in there.
Oh my fucking god! Now I have to watch it.
Yeah, yeah, I got him, guys. Woo! Yeah, go watch.
We're doing the worst of movies next week.
Yeah, I know, right? We got to redo the whole thing. No, dude, but like, yeah, I love Pedro Pascal. Every time Pedro Pascal took his helmet off and he was acting, it was like, I mean, it looks a little silly at certain times, but at the same time, it's like, this character is, you know, adding layers where he's not just some badass. I like that he wasn't a badass the whole time. This dude is like at the mercy of other people on a continual basis. Where it makes you go like, man, is this the one where like he's gonna lose the kid and we gotta watch him do whatever? And by the way, you bring in other characters from the Clone Wars. Ahsoka, I fucking love Ahsoka. Bill Burr again from the fucking first season, love Bill Burr, and for obvious reasons. I just love him as a comedian. But Jesus Christ, was so fucking cool to see him back. Sasha Banks and the 2 other Mandalorian fucking people from the trio. Oh my god, like I love this fucking show, Alan. But go ahead.
Well, yeah, and we'll talk about the second best show this year. Okay, no, because as much as I think Doom Patrol is better, this show was fantastic because one of the things that I was worried about was I liked season 1, but I felt season 1 meandered around for half the run. Where I felt like there's only like maybe 2 or 3 episodes that first season that ever felt like they were going anywhere, and I'm like, yo, I can't deal with another 10 episodes of this character just trying to find a place for this kid because as much as they do good stuff, it just also feels like they don't know where they want to go. And then they were adding, like, we're going to add all these characters from Clone Wars and Rebels and yada yada. I'm like, you're just going to oversaturate this. You're going to pull a Matrix 2 where you had an original story with original characters, and now you got to jam-pack it with everything else so that we can get characters that we remember. But I've never been more wrong. Because when the first character showed up, and because episode 1, I really enjoyed. I didn't really even know that was Boba Fett's, that was one of the clones actors until someone told me. But I'm like, I love that first episode. Second episode, I'm like, oh no, you're going to do it because now we're going into filler territory. But episode 3 came out and I'm like, you added the Mandalorians in and made it fantastic. It's a great episode. And I'm like, well, what are you going to do with this? What's the point of Mandalorians? Oh, hey, Mando, go to this place, find this Jedi. Who's that Jedi? Ahsoka. Ahsoka comes in, starts acting like Jason Voorhees and fucking...
Yeah.
And it was fucking incredible. Now, the only thing I don't like about that episode is that fight scene with the fucking 2 swords and the spear should have been way cooler. But what did they do? They made up for it next week where they had freaking Boba Fett and they brought, again, a character from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Melinda May, one of my favorite fucking actresses on that show. They bring her in here. Boba Fett gets to do some cool shit with a staff, which, by the way, if I'm in the Star Wars universe, I'm taking a staff. They seem to be much more reliable than lightsabers.
Yeah, pretty much.
But every episode had a point to it. All the fucking fan service they added meant something to the show. And then when one of the last episodes, when he has to essentially get his Avengers cast going, there are characters that the show built. You had Gina Carano's character made for the show. You had Melinda May's character, the helper to Boba Fett. It's like, yes, Boba Fett's character too. Yeah, you had these characters that were established from the other worlds, but they built them for the show. They made them work out well. So at one point, when they're doing the final battle and they have the V formation when they're going out there, I'm clapping because that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But then it comes to me, every one of those characters is female, but they never stop or do, hey, girl power type shit. They're like, no, we're going to treat this with the proper respect the show has. And you see that the show had so many original characters, but then also characters that essentially made better. Like, I'm sorry, Boba Fett was always a loser to me. I never understood why anyone liked him. This show made him interesting. And then again, the big thing, when the fucking Luke Skywalker shows up, I got that spoiled. But then when he shows up, I'm like, oh my god, he's doing something interesting. This will be the best show, second best show this year, if he does a hallway fight. And he does a hallway fight, very similar to Darth Vader. But you can see the fucking difference where Darth Vader was playing with them, where he is being a bit more, he's finessing. He's being a bit more flowing like he would in the Jedi training. Where Darth Vader doesn't give a shit. He is just tearing through them like a
You can
villain.
tell like the emotional beatdown and the scientific beatdown. It was like very like this is what separates those two characters very, very
And
well.
did side by side. They did side by side of like Darth Vader and of course they probably knew that, but like you see where it's like this is why I think choreography is so important. Not just so you can have cool fights, but you can tell a story with a good choreographed fight scene. What's the Darth Vader one tell you? He is playing with them because he could have got rid of those guns at any point, but he wanted to shoot them to show, you think those guns scare me? Just starts fucking, getting rid of them and just starts playing them around. It's a plaything for him. Luke Skywalker, it's like, hey, I'm, again, very scientific. I'm getting through this as efficiently as possible because I need to save these people. Focus on me while I do these moves the way I was trained. No dialogue explains that, but the way the characters move, the way the camera focuses on them, and it was the best fight that show had.
Yeah, man. But yeah, that's our number one of 2020 as far as shows go, guys. We're going to go a little bit faster with these other ones really quick, but I'm going to have you choose whether it's going to be games or movies next, Mr. Alan Shakazine.
Let's go with movies because I know for a fact that my top worst movies, I only got like 3 or 4 on there because I did not watch that many shitty movies.
Okay, so right here, worst movies list. And our number 10, The Sound of Metal. We're starting off with Alan's pick, even though I kind of agree with him. I'm not going to throw you under the fucking bus there, but tell people why you didn't like this, man.
I think the trailer had an interesting concept of like, hey, this character's going deaf and what's going to happen because he loves music. How is he going to live his life? And it does that, but the problem is, Jeremy only going for an hour. Come on.
Yeah, it's going to be a long one, though. It's all good.
But the thing about it, the interesting thing about the show is that, the interesting thing about the premise of the movie is that, hey, what's going to happen? This character loves music. What's he going to do? How's he going to get through it? The problem is the movie doesn't have enough plot to really fill its 2-hour time. So it just creates problems out of nothing just for the character to kind of go there. And then it just ends on like this fart of a note. And it's like, it had so much promise that the first half was great, but it just meanders into nothing that I'm just like, why am I watching this?
See, and like me, I see where you're coming from. Like, you're not wrong at all. And the people on you or whatever, it's like, okay, I get it. But I did like this. I just can't recommend it because it's such a downer, and at the same time I feel like the ending just kind of like crumbles the whole fucking thing, and there's so much passion, and it almost does a disservice to the actor and actress in this movie. Forgot the actress's name, but this guy was a Nightcrawler, and he was the villain in Venom. Forgot his name, so my bad. But the thing is, though, man, Riz Ahmed, that's his name. He is so fucking amazing. And Olivia Cook, that's the other girl. But they're so great, and as a couple, they look great. Everything's cool. They have a very emotional scene where he freaks the fuck out when he finds out he's deaf or whatever. This literally almost had me like tearing up. It was so fucking cool. But to see an ending just destroy a fucking movie, dude, like movies, you gotta stop doing that. Like, and this is a writing issue. They gotta stop doing that shit. So yeah, unfortunately, I kind of agree, with Alan here. But at the same time, if you guys disagree, I don't blame you for disagreeing. That is Sound of Metal. Now, we're going to do something that I'm going to get a little fucking mad talking about. 365 days. Kind of like the same issue I have with that fucking stupid-ass bullshit fucking One Mo Chan shit. Women, they just pick and choose when they want to fucking be upset about something. This actually did good, dude. You know what this is, basically?
I did not hear a single thing about this.
Yeah, this did go on Netflix. After the coronavirus started, I guess everyone wasn't fucking enough, or whatever the fuck the problem was. But this is basically a more intense version of 50 Shades of Grey, or whatever the fuck. And it's really, it's because it's not in a different language, or is it? I actually forgot it was a different language.
I'm pretty sure the reason it got popular was because people were hate watching, and not because they actually liked it.
I don't know. I didn't see tons of bad reviews, and just so you guys know,
I don't know anyone besides you.
You didn't see any tons of bad reviews. Okay, that's bullshit. I heard nothing but bad things being said about this.
Well,
this movie sucks.
Okay, well, I hate this movie too. Obviously, it's number 9. The only thing that I don't have this lower on the list is because unlike 50 Shades of Grey or whatever, the sex scenes here are actual fucking sex scenes and not fucking laugh fests. You know what I mean? Like, what I'm about to say is gonna crumble all that up. It's gonna make me look fucking weird. But the thing is, though, is that fucking character on the right, the girl, she has been fucking basically kidnapped by the guy on the left, and the whole movie is that she literally becomes like in love, like she likes the idea of it. So he's like raping her, he's molesting her, he's fucking people in front of her, he's doing all this shit, kidnapping her. He wraps her up in rope in a fucking airplane, y'all. Okay? And yet, when he finally fucks her, she's into it. And she falls in love with him, and to the point at the end of the movie, at some point, I think he fucking leaves her, and she still misses him. Like, she wants to be kidnapped and fucking taken advantage of guys. And yet this movie, like, Netflix is cool with it. And this is the only fucking movie that was like that Netflix is cool with. And I'm going to just tell you what that movie is right now, because it's a dishonorable mention. Cuties. People were like,
no, I didn't watch that. So I'll put that as well as dishonorable. I didn't watch it, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, I'm not going to watch it either. But the thing is people are like, whoa, Netflix is crazy about Cuties. They're crazy with this shit. You know what I mean? Like, that's what's so fucking annoying about you motherfuckers, man. It's like, and everyone has
I think the difference is two decently consenting adults versus a bunch of kids. What's going to get more press?
No, but it's like the fucking girl is falling in love with the person who's fucking raping her, and then you got other movies too that people will talk about, and I need to make sure to rewatch this movie so I can review it. Like Call Me by Your Fucking Name, Elle, the movie that the whole fucking movie is based around rape, and how her hero is the fucking rapist. Oh my god, you cinephiles out there, you fucking pieces of shit. I hate you motherfuckers, man. Because you guys are full of shit, and you guys will literally judge someone for fucking not liking some 5-star fucking beautiful piece of garbage that you fucking feel like you need to like, alright? Fucking cough, American Beauty, cough. Fuck you. Man, this fucking movie drove me insane. It drove me insane. And with Cuties, those two fucking things, like, on Netflix, I gotta tell you, dude, like, someone at Netflix is fucking, he needs to be on a fucking list. Alright?
Are you lost, baby girl?
Oh god, that isn't a fucking movie. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I hate this movie. Moving on. The Old Guard.
Man, I feel like 95% of this list is gonna be garbage Netflix movies.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing people watch, so yeah, fuck it. The Old Guard. I did not think this was gonna be good because I don't think Netflix movies are particularly good. So this just proved it. Basically the idea is that these Old Guard are these random group of people who are immortal, but no one knows why. So basically what it is that they die, but then they come back and they can heal from any wound. But the catch is that at some point, maybe it's tomorrow, maybe it's in 500 years, you'll just stop healing and die. So the story is basically one of the girl character, the black soldier, she gets shot and then just turns out, hey, you're a fucking Old Guard, whatever. Then gets captured, and apparently their goal, I don't know what the fuck the group's goal is to like stop things from happening or go on missions and do stuff. It's unclear, and the character's entire motivation is unclear. So it just becomes this meandering, globetrotting adventure with half decent action scenes, really little to no character development, and just ends on a stupid fucking note.
Yeah, man, and it sucks because I thought that there was going to be a cool concept here, and because I mean it reminds me of something like they're messing with the idea of respawning. And I mean, am I wrong for saying that or assuming that?
It's more healing because like they'll die because at one point they show you they go into a room and they get ambushed and they all get gunned down, and then a couple seconds like, okay guys, now we have to do it, and then they just go and half decently basically slaughter everyone because hey, they're able to heal from any wound, headshots, gunshots, doesn't fucking matter.
Oh, that's going to be something that's going to come up later on this.
Oh my god! Oh, so one point, again, the character on screen here, she's new. One point, somebody's like trying to like track him down. It's like, oh, you one of them? Prove it! Shoots herself in the foot. I'm like, is that really the only thing you could have done? You could have sliced that finger or anything else. You decided to go bullet to the foot.
Well, because guns go bang bang, and that's really exciting. Bang!
I mean, I guess, but like, if someone's trying to prove to me you're immortal and heal through anything, I'm just gonna cut my fucking finger. I'm not gonna shoot my foot and ruin my shoe.
Exactly. No, man. Yeah, it's fortunate that this didn't turn out to be a fucking cool thing, but that's why it's number 8 on our fucking worst movies of the year list. Moving on, though, Artemis Fowl. Disney Plus. What the fuck were y'all thinking?
They had the right choice. They're like, this is gonna bomb in theaters, but put it on fucking Disney Plus. People will watch it.
I will say there's a couple things I wanted to say really, really quick that are positive. I think that it was very colorful, very vibrant. I thought that there was a lot of stuff that was cool as far as like for kids goes. But the thing is, though, is like when you have a fucking thing going on in 2020 with the virus and blah blah blah, you don't put out shit like this in the middle of a fucking streaming war. What the fuck are you doing? There's so many bad things here. The CGI is so fucking terrible. The acting is really fucking bad, and I don't like movies because like nowadays, and we had a big conversation about this as far as genres and like what counts as a family movie and a kids movie. This is one of those movies that it looks like it could be for the family because there's action and blah blah blah, but the intelligence and the writing that they put into this makes you feel like you gotta be a dumb fucking kid, not just a kid, but a dumb fucking kid, like a fucking 3-year-old. Watching
Wait, is that
stupid
fucking
shit.
Judi Dench in this?
Yeah. Oh, and that
She's
stupid
had a
bitch.
bad couple of years. Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, Cats was before this that she fucking did. But let's not talk shit about Judi Dench. Oh, she's just a beautiful.
No,
fucking
we
smart woman.
should. Whoever a casting agent is should be fired.
Yeah, and she also needs to fucking have a couple of goddamn layers of self-control and not say yes to dumb shit like this. It's fucking I hate this
they were
movie.
based on a fucking best-selling novel, and I read the novel as a kid. It's pretty good. The main character is interesting, and I saw the trailer. I'm like, well, they nailed the look of the kid, but I heard nothing but bad from it, so I just avoided the fuck out of it.
Yeah, this movie is a definite fuck you, as Brightburn asked me over there in the chat. And as far as my own rating, because I don't like DT's rating system. Sorry, Corey, I just don't. This is a 1 out of 5 because at the very a fuck you could be something that could be just a bad B movie too, and be like, oh, that's funny, fuck you, ha ha. This is annoying. Like, this is really, really bad. It's not only boring, not only long, but it's fucking annoying, and I can't stand it. It's the same thing for this next one too. Number fucking 6 on our list, the main event. I hate when things try to fucking like win me over because they bring up the thing I'm into. Oh, WWE, you're a WWE fan, right? So you just like fucking wrestling. Doesn't matter what we do with it. And another thing too, Tanisha Arnold, who plays Pam in the show Martin. I love Martin. It's one of my favorite sitcoms of all time with Martin Lawrence. Everyone knows it. But she's in here, and she has these fucking moments. Her character is always like, oh, the New Day's on there. Kofi Kingston. I love Kofi Kingston because since she's black, guys, in case you can't understand how fucking wrestling is, every black person has to like black shit and has to be, wearing or listen to black music and only has black friends. They can't hang out with, and I know this picture has like one white dude. They barely hang out with each other in this fucking movie. But, like, the whole thing is they keep bringing up the New Day and Kofi Kingston the whole fucking movie. Meanwhile, most of the stuff that actually happens in the movie is a big 400-pound dude, Otis, farting, and he farts on the fucking kid, and he flies across the fucking room. Okay? It's fucking ridiculous. The kid has superpowers. He puts on a mask that smells like someone's fucking jockstrap. They make jokes like that. I'm not joking. That's literally a fucking storyline point. And because it's a luchador wrestling...
Oh, yeah, I remember you telling me this is like Mike, but with wrestling.
Yeah, he fucking has this fucking wrestling mask, and I hate, like, another thing, too, not all Mexicans have to wear lucha libre fucking masks. Like, I feel like American movies have done this after Nacho Libre, like, a lot. You know what I mean? Like, I know
I don't think that movie really inspired anything. I think it's just people think of the luchador wrestlers, not that random fucking movie Jack Black.
Yeah, and I love the New Day, by the way, Raheem. I fucking love New Day a lot. But the thing that's really annoying is just kind of like, I can't fucking take when people do this stupid shit with properties I like. Anime does this too sometimes, like with that fucking show High Score Girl, where it's like, hey, we're just gonna show a PlayStation. That should be enough for the gamers to go, oh, I played that. That's fucking no. You can do something with the wrestling shit, just like how certain shows can do something with the gaming shit. So, like, yeah, fuck you. You didn't get me over with your stupid fucking, oh, it's about wrestling. You like it, right? No, I didn't. It's fucking stupid. Moving on. Number 5, right in the middle of all these shitty-ass fucking movies, 2020, Deathstroke, Knights and Dragons. Alan, I'm surprised that you don't like this.
Well, so me and a few buddies were like looking at just random movies, and I was like, well, Deathstroke, Knights and Dragons, the animation looked really good. It felt like they're going back a bit more classic, maybe a bit more anime that they're focused on. I'm like, oh, Deathstroke's kind of a cool character. I really like Mortal Kombat Legends, so fuck it, why not? So for people that don't remember Anime Night, there's a particular phrase that got coined in Anime Night, and we called it the longest 20 minutes of our lives, where it's a 20-minute episode, but it feels like it goes on for 5 hours because it's so boring. This is the longest hour and a half of our lives, where we're watched it, and 45 minutes in, we're like, so they solved every problem, right? Yeah. What's the rest of this movie? Oh, we're just going to do the exact same thing again, but with a time jump. I'm like, this is fucking stupid. It's long, it's boring. All the action scenes are terrible. The plot makes no goddamn sense. It just meanders around a bunch of bullshit, and it really doesn't have enough content to fill a 45-minute chunk, let alone an hour and a half. So it just got to the point where we just fucking were watching this going, oh my God, is this over yet? And it's like after Mortal Kombat Legends and how good animated stuff has been the last couple of years, this coming out, it's like, why did you shit this out?
Yeah, man. I don't even fucking know. I'm just, for me, I like the DC stuff. You know what I mean? Like some of the animated stuff. With Flashpoint, I fucking enjoyed the shit out of that.
Oh yeah, it was great.
But it's just kind of like, damn, dude. Like these fucking things. For one, they're coming out a lot. They have a lot of them. Like I know Superman Red Sun came out this year and some other shit too.
Red Sun is not Red Sun, but yeah, Red Sun is fantastic. It's a wonderful fucking movie. The thing is this is one of the lower ones because DC animated movies have been pretty decent the last couple of years. This one just shits the bed.
Yeah, man. But moving on from this, we're talking about something I know the chat's gonna remember this very well because they watched it with us. It's Capone, and you're probably wondering why did I get this picture? Because
that's the worst photo I've ever seen. Is he dead in this photo? What the fuck?
I mean, he might as well be. This fucking movie. I'm not gonna make this a long review. Capone. The big thing I was talking about, the biggest fucking topic online about this movie.
Can you take that picture, please? Because I hate it.
Well, I'm leaving it. This is gonna be my fucking. I'm gonna print this out, and put it on my wall now. This fucking movie, dude. One of the biggest trending things is that Capone has his moment, played by Tom Hardy. He shits in the bed. I mean, it's like when the movie's so fucking bad. Basically, Capone's going crazy throughout the entire movie, just fucking yelling at the fucking woods and shit, all this crazy stuff. But people still would rather sidestep all that discussion of how bad this movie is and go, yeah, he shits a bed, literally. That's fucking hilarious. And it is hilarious. And I recommend you guys go check that part out. But as far as the movie goes, this is fucking terrible, and I am moving on. This one, number 3, worst of lists.
What the fuck is the next two? This is the second time you've done this to me. I'm sorry. Tenet is the worst movie to come out this year. And I don't say that from gleefulness, like this is a Ridley Scott movie. What you call it? The freaking, let's say David Tennant. Jesus fucking Christ. Christopher Nolan's like my favorite working director. So the fact that he created the worst movie this year is a fucking point of shame. Because this man has built his career on big action scenes, but incredibly written, intelligent dialogue. So the fact that this shit comes out and it's like, it is poorly written by the fact, almost no character development. The main character doesn't even get a name. They literally call him the protagonist. And I think that's supposed to be funny or whatever, but whatever. The action scenes are really not that good, though he does have his best choreographed fight he ever did. It's literally 32 seconds in a kitchen. It's not a good fight, but it's his best. But there's nothing about this movie. Yeah, you should have really clicked that. That's the only thing about this movie that's mildly interesting. The rest of this movie on 2 different viewings is fucking impossible to get because the central premise of this movie, for you to understand what's going on, the central conceit of this movie is for you to understand what inversion tech is. It poorly gets explained, but it is a central piece to every moving object in this fucking universe, but it makes no fucking sense. So trying to sit there, pause the movie, and go back and forth trying to decipher the dialogue is a Herculean task that goes fucking nowhere. Even on second attempt with subtitles, this is still the worst movie of the fucking year. This pissed me off so fucking much that I almost had a nervous breakdown in the street. Like my Facebook post, I was just fucking going off. I think someone told me that the DT crew brought up that I was just losing my mind.
That's fucking hilarious, honestly. But yeah, dude, that's Tenet for y'all. I didn't watch this. I tried 2-3 fucking times. I couldn't get
right. Poorly written. Talk about the sound mixing. Okay, the sound mixing. This is the worst sound mixing I've ever seen in a movie ever. Like, I don't think there's a movie that'll ever come out that'll have worse sound mixing than this. There are points in the fucking. There are points. You're still laughing. I'm glad my mental breakdown is amusing to you.
Alan's crying in this club right now.
I'm crying in the street. This man's laughing.
Fuck, dude. Yeah, Cedric saying Nick involved in the fucking weaving. Or wheezing. I'm sorry, I'm fucking stupid, dude. Idris, I'll give you. It's one of Nolan's weaker movies, but I enjoyed it for the most part. Oh, okay, well then shit.
It's the weakest. Like I can't think. Like I don't even really like Memento, but Memento's way better. At least Memento was confusing, but with a purpose, because the main character is also fucking confused because he has no memory. It's only confusing because it's badly written.
Yeah. Oh man, Sasha Callan had mental breakdown. Solid is saying Tenet was fucking dumb. Yeah, dude. Well, I mean, apparently it wasn't. Apparently we just don't get it. We watch fucking any movie articles out there and shit. God damn. Anyways, moving on. Doolittle. I don't even want to give energy to how much I hate this fucking movie. Like, dude. So the trailer came out, right? And I literally, because I was like, oh man, he's finally not doing Iron Man. I want to watch Robert Downey Jr. talk about these fucking animals and everything. And yeah, Marissa, you're saying bullshit, dude. It's like, no, I didn't watch it with you, motherfuckers. I watched it on my own.
I tried to watch it with y'all. It still sucked.
Yeah, no, because I know he's about to say, he's be like, man, you jammed out after we were fucking watching it. No, this week I actually watched it. And here's the thing. I will admit one thing is that I watched it on super fast mode. I watched it at 2 times speed because I ain't going to sit there while these stupid fucking jokes come out. Oh, my God, dude. Like, all I will say, dude, is just like, this could have been cool. Like, the fucking, the trailer was actually kind of emotional. There's a part.
The trailer was terrible. This looked like a shitty Pirates of the Caribbean movie. Like, I don't know what the fuck you were thinking watching that trailer, because I saw the trailer for this. I'm like, this looks fucking terrible. From his accent to the CGI and the animals, I get it, you want talking animals, but this looks fucking terrible. This looks worse than the Dr. Dolittle movie that Eddie Murphy was in, and that movie's fantastic. So watching this, and I'm like, this is just bad from the acting. They're like, hey, act like Sherlock Holmes, but also don't give a fuck about that you exist in this movie. It is just badly written.
My thing is just like what's annoying is that there's so many other voice actors here that do kind of an okay job as far as like, you know, how they're acting, but the dialogue, the writing, like this is a great example of, because this is, I mean, and I will say once again, it's a big thing that people keep talking to me about, I'm wrong about, but this is definitely for fucking kids. This is so for kids. The thing is though, is like the writing, you can still have a kids movie and be silly and shit without being so fucking dumb. Like, can't some of the voice actors say, "Hey, dude, I'm not saying that," or have somebody like there's another big fart scene, so, you know, something gets pulled out of something
they do
else.
That all the time with animal movies, like that happens. That even happened in the original one, but it's like it's one of those things where it's like the movie itself just it felt like it was uninspired, because this just to me feels like a direct-to-DVD movie. It just happens to have a fucking $180 million budget because again we got Robert Downey Jr., which means we can sell it with his face alone. But the rest of it just feels uninspired. It feels like they shot this out just for the sake of getting Robert Downey Jr. in something that wasn't Iron Man. Yeah. And I really think that I don't think they squandered it, because the next movie will be fine. But this is kind of a real blunder for your first non-MCU project. Like Chris Evans was in fucking Knives Out, and now everyone loved it. You had Extraction with Chris Hemsworth on Netflix, and that worked out really well. So the fact that this is yours and it was a blunder, it's like, it's kind of a shame.
Fucking shame, dude. Now, moving on. This is one of those ones where, you know, like, neither of us really felt that was the worst of, but it was up there. And we both definitely agree, because if you're a normal fucking person with a regular brain, you will see this for the bullshit that it is. Bloodshot, number 1. This fucking movie...
It's not the worst movie of the year, because again, Tenet, but then also not even number 2 for me, because I think Invisible Man is way worse. I'm surprised it wasn't on this list.
Yeah, you and I both had this pretty high up on our list, but the thing is, though, dude, is like looking at this, I feel like it's really hard to explain, but it's like
doing a sequel.
Yeah, no, oh yeah, they're for sure doing a sequel, because
I
this
don't know
thing cost
how it made money.
Yeah, but it didn't cost that much, and I feel like this came out perfectly because that's when the virus is going on. So it's one of those things that could thank the fucking virus. I wish the virus took this fucking movie out. And I don't mean that like it dies or something fucked up like that, guys. I'm saying like lots of movies that failed this year. This one, that wasn't the case. This fucking movie is really awful though. Vin Diesel, I do think though, this is not any worse than some of the Fast and Furious shit that he's done, or Triple X, Return of Xander Cage. That was fucking really bad. This is not on the level of that kind of bad.
Actually, I like that Triple X movie. I think that this is almost as bad as The Last Witch Hunter.
And Bradburn, that's a great question. He says, is Bloodshot dumb fun like a Michael Bay film? No, but see, here's the thing. Like, Six Underground came out, and it was like, oh, we got that kind of crazy shit going on, right? Because it's made by Michael Bay, and it's fucking crazy.
Great movie. 600 Grand is fantastic. This is one of those movies where it's like, we're going to go lower budget, because I don't know why they went lower budget. I mean, then again, I guess they just didn't want to spend so much money, because Vin Diesel, outside of Fast and the Furious, doesn't really make a lot of money. Most of his movies flop. So they're like, well, we can't give you a huge budget, so we're going to give you a small one. And you can definitely see that. The problem with this movie is all the action scenes are terrible. And
as you can see right there,
like, not even visually, because again, I watch CW shit. The actual fights are so bad, because that sequence is the big fight in the movie. It is dark. They do the red light so that you can at least see what's going on, but even then, it's not that. It does a quick cuts and the quick like, oh, he does a motion with his fist and then punches the dude, and then it cuts the dude flying. I'm like, these fight scenes are not that interesting. The only interesting thing about this is the premise. The premise is kind of interesting, and I'll spoil this movie because this movie fucking sucks.
Oh, that scene right there, by the way. Oh my god,
Okay, that I do want to talk about that. So the premise of the movie is that he dies in like an accident or whatever, and they bring him back with all this like nanotech and crazy powers and shit. And what it is that his wife gets killed, and he ends up having to basically hunt down the man that killed her. Now there's some plot twists that happen with that. Oh fuck, I was probably never gonna watch it. Basically, what it is that because they basically rebuilt him up from almost scratch, they can fuck with his memories. So he thinks his wife is dead by some dude. I think it's Pete Davidson actually.
Yeah.
It's one of those guys where he actually, is dancing around and shoots his wife. So he had to go kill the guy. But turns out that guy didn't kill anybody. That's the guy who built him his business partner, and he's trying to kill all his business partners. So he's fucking with Vin Diesel's mind, basically making him feel that, basically putting the memories in that all these random dudes killed his wife, so that he can fucking take out the competition. And that's the premise of the movie, which is a pretty decent premise. The problem is everyone in here is a terrible actor. Vin Diesel cannot emote to save his fucking life. So it's like, my wife's alive. I have a daughter. Cool. Like, no emotion at all. And the thing is, that fight scene in there is the only part of the movie I enjoyed. Is the CG bad? Of course it is. But it's the only part of the movie that has high energy. It's the only part of the movie that changes environment and does at least some decent stuff. Is it bad? Yes. Is it the worst fight I've ever seen? No. But it goes from inside to down an elevator shaft to up another elevator. It's like it does a lot of interesting stuff with that at least was energetic. So I was enjoying myself for that 5 minutes.
Yeah, man. No, that shit was that was a fucking experience, guys. Easily our worst. I'm trying to show the fucking picture again, but it's not letting me. Oh, what's wrong with that?
It's probably supposed to be rated R at first, and they went to PG. That wouldn't have made a fucking difference.
It really wouldn't have. No, fuck no. But moving on, guys, we're gonna go into best movies now. Hopefully we don't piss people off with this one, but I'm gonna start this off pretty quickly with you, sir. Or you know what? Actually, we'll say best for last. I'm gonna say best for last. I want to go into worst games really quick, man.
Sure.
Because this should be let's keep the anger energy out here. This starting off with you, man. G.I. Joe Operation Blackout, number 10 on the worst video games list. What are your thoughts on this, man?
Yeah, so for worst video games, I realized again I didn't play a lot of bad games, so I went and just kind of I think I spent like a couple weeks ago. I just went through. I'm like, let me just play a bunch of video games and see where they fit on my list and stuff. And I added a few here and there. This was one of the ones where it's like I had no idea this game came out. Nobody talked about it. It literally got forgotten about. The only reason I even heard about it was I think I randomly saw it on like a random website's ad. I'm like, the fuck is this?
You're gonna say ass?
Yeah, random ass too. I was watching porn and it just appeared. But it was one of those things where it's like I picked it up, I played it, and I'm like, look, is the shooting kind of good? Yes, but it looks exactly like Fortnite. And I'm like, well, that's not particularly bad. But then every mission is just shoot a bunch of people while we have poor voiceovers, and I'm like, this is boring as fuck. I played like 2 hours. I'm like, you know what, man? This is not that good. The shooting is decent, but the level design is all the same. You just walk into a bunch of corridors and start shooting people till the fucking mission is over. And it's like, there's no variation. There's no interesting stuff. They try to have different characters with different powers, but everything just feels the same. And it's like, this just feels like it was shat out.
Yeah, dude. And it probably was. I mean, it is a G.I. Joe game. I didn't think anyone was going to give a fuck about this.
G.I. Joe, who made this game?
Yeah. No, it was surprising that this even came out. But yeah, guys, that's it right there. If it fucking shows, what's wrong with you think? I don't know why it's not showing. There it is. Okay, yeah. G.I. Joe Operation Blackout. My X is probably going to die soon, but I'm going to move past this pretty quickly. Moving on. Number 9, Super Mario 3D All-Stars.
That's a you problem, bro.
It could be, but here's the thing, though. No, I'm sorry.
This is a list he made. He has a vendetta against this game.
This list is bullshit.
Oh, what the fuck? I knew you guys were going to do this shit. You motherfuckers. You guys are assholes.
I like this game, by the way. I think this is fantastic.
Yeah, Art, you've seen not 3D All-Stars, the bad port. Thank you. That's pretty much the reason why. Because here's the thing, guys. I'll take off my hatred, because this would have been way higher if I talk about like just how bad these games are. Because I'm sorry, Mario Sunshine is bullshit.
He's not even talking about the ports. He's talking about the games in general. Get him.
Well, no, all that's bad. Mario Galaxy is really bullshit. But I'm not even counting that against this. Not even that. But my main thing here is that this was basically just the simplest port.
Get him.
For $60, guys. For $60, this fucking game came out, and it's like, dude, who the fuck do you think you are, Nintendo, to sell me bullshit that you know that I can have on any of the virtual stores, on the Wii U, on the fucking Wii? You can get this shit on an emulator, on a ROM. They didn't do one fucking thing different. for this 3-pack and still charge you $60 fucking dollars. You gotta be fucking kidding me, dude. Like, that is so disrespectful.
Cedric's right. Here's the bad opinion we were waiting for. It took almost 2 hours.
What?
No, your bad opinion.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, bad opinion? Like, it didn't take 3 hours to fucking, like, I actually probably put more hours in it.
I knew the word that would be controversial. No, because at the end of the day, it's like, look, do I think this is the best game of the year? Fuck no, of course not. I'm not going to sit there and say a port from fucking 20 years ago is the best game of the year. But when I played this up, it was one of those things with the kids. And again, this is 2021, 35th year anniversary of Legend of Zelda. This better fucking be there, or I'm going to be fucking mad. Because one of those things where it's like, look, would I have liked something like Spyro? Sure, but whatever. When I actually picked up and played the game, I really enjoyed it. I think it's a fantastic port. I really enjoyed playing Super Mario 64. I really enjoyed playing that. It made me feel like I did when I was playing as a kid. And video games don't really do like that. I don't really play video games like that anymore. It's like, reinvigorate the youth. But playing it was a lot of fun, and it really works well on the Switch. And I had a great time with it. So it's one of those things. It's not even on my best list. It was just a fun game.
I get you, man. And I know people are gonna be mad about the way I get mad about these fucking things, but Raheem. Oh, I like you.
So he hates that game too, because Nick, hates hard video games.
Well, wait, who knows if it's even on the list or not? I don't know if I hate it.
I know you.
So
I know it's gonna be on the list. And you know what? I'm not gonna talk to you for a month, but I see it on the list. You better hire someone else.
I know how this list works. It's gonna be next.
So next, Dragon Ball Kakarot.
Yeah, this is all the Dragon Ball fans. Dragon Ball games suck.
Have you played Fighter Z?
That's the only one.
Okay.
Somebody's gonna bring up some fucking version of Budokai. Who gives a shit? 95% of Dragon Ball games fucking suck. So I played Xenoverse, and I'm like, you know what? Xenoverse is not bad. It was a different take on the Dragon Ball games. It was a creative character. You can go through, and it does every single thing that a Dragon Ball game does. It goes through the whole saga. Every fucking Dragon Ball game goes through every single saga. That's why I actually like Dragon Ball Z Fighters a little bit better, because at least it's its own original story. This, again, Dragon Ball Kakarot, what are we going to do? We're just going to go through the fucking series again. Every fucking time, I swear to God, they don't do anything original in these games. They just recycle the same fucking levels, the same fucking plot points. They never create anything new. It is just a bad fucking overall. So I played it. This is the exact same thing as Xenoverse 1 or 2. There's no difference. So fuck it. I'm out. Like, this is the hard work. It does nothing new. And I got bored of it so fast.
By the way, can you just say its name again just one more time?
Kakarot.
Oh, okay. At first it sounds like Kakakake. They fucking flew. I fucking flew boogers.
What about Pokemon games, Alan? They make it for noobs. What are you talking about?
I don't even fucking know. But the thing is, though, yeah, Dragon Ball Z, I think there is some good games out there, but I haven't played a lot of them, especially Xenoverse games, so we'll see if, if he's actually right about this. I might play this soon, believe it or not. So we'll see. But, Jen, I'm sorry. Paper Mario, the Origami King.
This is just your plain ass list. This is your list. There ain't no one else's list but yours.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. He threw in those two to throw you off, but yeah, Nick doesn't like difficult games.
He wasn't full of fucking no one. This is his fucking list.
No.
This ain't no one else's fucking list.
Paper Mario the Origami King is a piece of shit fucking game. I'm sorry, guys.
You only played like 30 minutes of it and got mad because you got lost.
Oh, no. I played 3 hours.
Head ass.
I played 3 to 5 hours of this fucking game. And here's the thing. I did this on stream.
You are full of shit. You are full of shit.
Nope. And here's another thing, too, about this fucking piece of shit game, too, is that a lot of this was an issue for fucking, like, I couldn't tell where to go.
I want you to get off your face.
Guys, how do you like this when you play a video game where you literally are, where do I go? What do I do? Oh, it's there? Oh, fuck, wait, I got to go way around this and do a whole fucking turnaround for 20 minutes just going around this fucking city that I can't actually interact with? Oh, where the fuck do I go again? Oh, I found where I go.
You just got to fix it.
Getting lost can be one of two things: bad level design, or you just have no internal consistency when it comes to directions.
Dude, she literally gave me a direction. She's like, click on the green thing.
Yeah, no.
Fucking
I'm not saying that game can't be confusing, but I've also played video games with you, and you get lost really fucking easily.
You trying to call me stupid?
Yes.
Oh, that's not nice.
I've never played this game. I've never even played a Paper Mario game. But you get confused and lost and frustrated so easily that you did that with fucking Sonic Mania, where you didn't know the basic controls for most of that game.
I'm just saying, and it's boring too. That's another fucking thing about this game.
Oh my God.
It's boring as fuck.
The only time you actually played the game was on the show, where you only got like 30 minutes in.
No, I played outside of the show too, and I was watching a gameplay video on fucking YouTube to know what to do, and I'm doing the same thing the guys do, and I'm like, Why the fuck am I doing this? Why am I trying
Because
to
you're
beat
terrible at games.
this? Fucking trash, dude. And this is for kids, by the way. This is for kids. If I can't understand it, how the fuck is a kid gonna
Why are
understand
you
it?
racist against Mario?
This is a game made for kids, so it's you if you're not getting
No,
it.
because sometimes Hercules was made for kids too. Now some bullshit. And
That's
Aladdin.
different. That would make to steal kids' money.
Yeah, and this wasn't $60 fucking for goddamn the same old shit.
For a
Fuck this
game,
game.
yeah, for a fucking game that people like from a series that people generally enjoy.
Fucking trash. Number 7 on the
trash.
worst stuff fucking list of 2020. It's fucking trash.
Listen, bullshit. Doom Patrol is still the best TV show of the year.
I'm gonna get the people on you now. Watch Dogs, Legion. I didn't get to play this. It's all on him. Yeah,
I
deal with that
literally
shit.
forgot I owned that game. This is one of those situations where I look, for me, if you were to tell me my favorite publisher, I'd go with Ubisoft. Not because I think they have good business practices. In fact, they have some of the worst. But at the end of the day, I know what I'm getting when I get a Ubisoft game. I get a solid 6 to 7.5 out of 10, depending on the game. This game was shat out, forgotten about. You think Cyberpunk is bad? At least Cyberpunk loaded its sound in. There were, like, literally, I would drive around the city and there'd be no sound. No tires to the ground, no gears churning in the car. I smashed into a bus and no sound. I'm like, that's fucking terrible. I'm like, whatever.
That's some simple shit too, guy. Like that's annoying.
The story is mildly interesting where terrorists just use technology and blow up like in the city. I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. That's a premise to get in there. The actual fucking voice acting is all terrible. Holy shit. I have never seen a video game with such bad voice acting. The gimmick of the game, outside the hacking, which the hacking is pretty cool this time around. You do a lot of cool, interesting stuff, much like the Watch Dogs stuff, but the hacking's always been cool in Watch Dogs. They managed to be very creative, and they continue that. However, the main gimmick from this is the permadeath system, where you can walk up to apparently everyone in London is just perfectly okay with becoming a domestic terrorist. You walk up to every man or woman and go, would you like to join JetSec? Like, oh, thank God. I've been waiting for you to come up to me. Yes, I'll blow up a building and shoot cops and murder people left and right. Of course, sign me the fuck up. Literally walked up to 10 people. And I'll give it to this game. Every one of them gave me some unique quest of their buddy couldn't pay the medical bills, or they're in trouble with the mafia, or they're actually on the monthly costs. Like, there was an interesting, unique story. But the problem is, that's the end of it. Once you get them on your team, they just lose all characterization. And it just becomes this boring slog, and the game falls apart. It doesn't run at any version of a frame rate. So I just forgot it came out. I went and played Valhalla and had a much better time. That this is just a major disappointment because I was looking forward to this. But the shooting is really not that good. The melee is fucking basic and terrible, where you could basically fight off 17 people without a problem, but the game just has to add a difficulty in so you'll randomly get shot. But the game doesn't want you to shoot any bullets, but it gives you enough stuff to shoot stuff. I'm like, this game does not know what it wants to be.
Yeah, no, it really sucks because I thought this would be a really cool thing. But moving on, man, one thing I really thought was going to be cool too, being a fan of WWE All-Stars, was WWE 2K Battlegrounds.
Really,
So,
this looks terrible.
oh, this looks fucking awful. And by the way, they're using 2 characters. You can tell that like they just didn't fucking have anything, like they didn't have no vision. Because they're like, who people like? Let's like search popular wrestling people. Stone Cold and The Rock.
Who can we get where we don't have to animate the hair?
Dude, yeah, exactly, yeah. Another thing, too, though, Stone Cold and The Rock have not fucking wrestled in God knows how long, right? Why didn't you have Roman Reigns or Undertaker or whatever? I tell you why, because whoever made this game is not a fucking wrestling fan. They just said, oh, well, who's the first people you come up with in your head? Stone Cold and The Rock. The characters in this game are not indicative of whoever's on the current roster right now. There's a lot of people in there that are on the roster, but this is something that's more...
That doesn't sound like a bad thing, because like, well, we want to make a wrestling game that doesn't matter about like the year, you know?
True, but then at the same time, it's like this is the year that, you know, because 2K20 came out last year. The way 2K works is they come out with a game that's named after the upcoming year. The problem is 2K20 was so fucked up to the point where literally it had a 2K or the year 2020 issue. Like, you know Y2K back in there and was like, oh,
yeah, I can't believe that was real. Out of all the things that's ever happened in this industry, I cannot believe the year stopped the game from running.
Yeah, literally the year. That's the game's named after. Like.
I heard that from you and I didn't believe you.
Yeah, unfucking believable. So WWE was like, "Ooh, you guys are making us look bad as fuck. You guys are not going to make our game this year." Oh, but you know what though? What's another little branch of your guys' thing? Because it's still 2K. Yeah, why don't you guys make it? It's like, wait, so you're gonna have them make this game, knowing that the last one was fucking terrible. You still got the same goddamn people, you know, as far as the main branch, you know, not the sub branch. And then you gave them pretty much fucking little money to even do this, because look how bad this looks. And then you didn't even care enough to fucking do anything different. Like, there's nothing authentic about the game, too. Like, you play, like, on a beach. You play, like, on fire. You do all this crazy shit. And none of the moves actually fucking look like the moves that they're supposed to be. Some of the characters are not even drawn the way they look in real life. But like, you could have easily did something as simple as, hey, there's no people in the audiences lately because of the coronavirus. Let's have them play in the Raw arena, the WrestleMania arena, whatever. No, it's like, wouldn't it be cool to see all the wrestlers go to vacations and then they fight over there for no reason and there's no storyline, there's no this, there's no that? It's fucking dumb. This was terrible. It was boring. I know 2K20 was bad to some people. I think it was, playable after they fixed everything. This was bad, working just fine. There's nothing wrong with this game, and it's
that's always the worst part. When this game is perfectly fine, but for some fucking reason doesn't want to work.
Yeah, because I hate to say that one of the games that actually worked this year was one of the worst ones ever, and this is definitely up there.
Yeah.
Speaking of games that probably worked right away, and I don't know if this is the case for you here, but they should be. Crysis being remastered. What was wrong with this? Because I feel like this would have been cool.
Okay, I have a fucking bone to pick with this game. I enjoyed the first Crysis. I played it back in the day when it first came out. I thought that game was generally enjoyable. The problem is, it's really, really fun to just shoot random dudes. The problem is when the twist comes in and you're fighting aliens, they become bullet sponges and the game immediately becomes less fun. And this idea of cannon run Crysis is such a fucking stupid joke because I never understood why that became a meme. And people are like, well, it's really hard to run. I'm like, no, it isn't. They're like, yeah, it's really hard to run. I'm like, no, it was just really badly optimized. And that was the problem with this game is it was extremely badly optimized. So it didn't matter how powerful your rig was. It was built like garbage. It was like trying to play Cyberpunk right now or playing New Vegas back in the day. It's not hard to run. It's bad. It was badly fucking implemented on the PC. So when the fucking memes kept coming out, I'm like, this is fucking stupid. Hey, guys, we're doing a remaster. And guess what? We're going to make it so crazy powerful that no one can run it. I booted the game up. It looks identical. It doesn't look any different than it did back in the fucking day. I played it, and honestly, I didn't get this game at the time of day because I went through the exact same beach, the exact same sequence, the enemies in the exact same place, the exact same looking guns. Nothing has changed. Nothing is different. This is just a port. This isn't a remaster because nothing was remastered. It's running at the same fucking frame rate. It does not look any fucking different. The same voice acting. Literally nothing has changed in this game. This being called a remaster is false advertising. This is literally just a port. And yes, I played it on PC. I ran it at full settings. It didn't fucking do anything for me. And I played the last game at full settings back in the day. This is an identical fucking version. So the fact that they're like, oh, we're at 8K, it doesn't matter how high the resolution number is. If the textures are still 1080p or 720p, it's not going to look any better. By the way, one day we'll go into PC gaming. There's a difference between resolution and textures. Those aren't the same fucking things.
Yeah, man. I'm surprised and kind of upset because I really wanted to play this, but it is what it is. But this is the part where we disagree kind of heavily here on this next one. And I'm just going to give you you can say whatever the fuck you want. I'm just going to shut my mouth.
Wait. Oh, no. I think I know what's going to come next. No. This is the worst. No. You did this to me again. No. This is the worst game of the fucking year. I don't know what the fuck you put above these two to make it worse. You did this to me again, and I hate when you do this because now I'm gonna go on a fucking rant. And anyone that knows how a fucking rant works, you better fucking find a way to slow this down. Fuck speeding this up. This is the worst game of the fucking year. And why is it the worst game of the fucking year? Is because any of the problems that it has are all fucking choices. This game runs perfectly. It runs at perfect frame rate, has perfect resolution. Every single thing about the game runs exactly the way it was supposed to run. The problem with the game is it has no fucking idea what it wants to do. Does it want to be an action game? Does it want to be a stealth game? Because it does both of them poorly. It wants to be a sequel to a game that ended on a pretty decent note, but had a little bit of a string. It then takes that string and stretches it as long as humanly fucking possible to justify its own existence, and then just bumps up the visuals so people go like, "Oh, look at the visuals." But the biggest problem with this game is it's fucking gassed up fans that are putting this as a pinnacle of storytelling in video game. I'm literally finishing up Mass Effect right now, and I'm going to go on to the rest of the series. That is the pinnacle of storytelling in video games. That started the idea of story-driven gameplay. This is just fucking gassing itself up because a bunch of cinephiles are like, well, hey, this is more gameplay. This is more story than gameplay. So we're going to sit there and be like, this is the best story. No. The story is fucking basic as fuck. This is just a basic revenge story. The only reason this is getting a time of day is because the last one, which is just a basic fucking story of, hey, we're going to get this two people and they grow to love each other over the course of this adventure, which is just really well done. This isn't well done. All the characters in here have no agency. All the fucking all the environments are copy and pasted. The fucking enemies are just fucking teleport randomly. The entire level design is fucking terrible, where you don't know where the fuck enemies are because I don't know what the fuck they want to do with the map, where enemies will just fucking teleport. It goes on for hours with nothing happening for most of it. The first hour and a half of that game is so dull. And then they're like, we're going to give you this big fake open world where you just go on a fucking horse for 2 fucking hours, where you're just trying to sit there and go through the generators. Some of the worst fucking bullshit that I've ever fucking seen in this video game. And it's boring and boring and boring. There's nothing interesting that fucking happens. At the point at where I stopped, where the fucking the horse gets shot in the fucking head, in the fucking Last of Us, I was busy fighting off hundreds of fucking zombies and random people. This game has nothing going on for it. This game has nothing interesting for it. And the fact that it gets gassed up as this fucking pinnacle of gaming in both gameplay and story is a fucking insult to everything that came out this year. There are games this year that came out that are better, have better story, have better voice acting, for fuck's sake. There's nothing about this game that's fucking interesting.
Okay,
so fuck you. Try to come out and defend this fucking game.
Should it actually be like higher than Watch Dogs Legion, the game that was technically all broken and also bad storytelling?
Yeah, because like Nick said with fucking Battlegrounds, the game right before, a perfectly functional game that has bad decision choices is worse than a broken game. Because, hey, maybe Watch Dogs Legions will get fixed in 6 months, and the game will be a lot more fun. The problems with Watch Dogs Legions are all technical. The problem with this game are all design choices.
So my whole thing about this, because you honestly, like, yeah, there's a lot of things you're right about. And I feel like this game was just bullshit from the beginning before it even came out because of some of the things that was going on behind the scenes, and then as well as the fact that the storyline choices that was kind of leaked or whatever was like, oh my god, like the story's gonna be trash, and that's all subjective, by the way. But when I
want to point out to people for that rant, I avoided all the spoilers, so I actually still don't know how the fucking game ends.
Yeah, and it ends bad. But the biggest thing here too is like the idea that, you know, because like the gameplay of this game, I'm just gonna tell you straight up my experience. I was tense many a time. Games don't get that out of me a whole lot unless like they're just like ridiculously fucking hard and I'm tense because I want to win, like Fall Guys, or you know, someone's gonna catch me killing somebody in Among Us. But that's pretty much about it. I don't get like this during campaigns. This was actually a pretty good campaign, considering the fact that, you know, like this fucking story, like when people talked about the first Last of Us and said, yo, story, it's so great because of story, they read what you guys wanted. Naughty Dog was like, okay, you guys want a story, we're going to give you a story. And this, subjectively, I think the story is okay. I actually cried when a certain person died. I cried like hard.
I'm sorry though, that fucking sequence where one of the characters dies is so fucking ridiculous, because we're gonna base the entire game on this, because the way we sold the fucking game is by having Ellie go murder crazy. So when the sequence comes up, it's like, oh, the mystery of why he got killed. It's like, okay, really? We're gonna stress this out for 30 fucking hours? Like, this is just trying to do a basic revenge story. This doesn't feel inspired. This feels like it was shot out like a fucking direct.
Well, you're definitely right in that sense, but at the same time, it's like I don't like to put story as far as like how to fucking like. I don't want to rate something down just on story because it's still subjective to like your own taste. And like, I mean, talking about the gameplay, there's nothing broken with it. There's lots of fucking like, you got options on like the stealth stuff, and you've brought this up before.
Because they take options away from you. When you played the first Last of Us and you got to play as this same character, the shooting felt a lot better. She was actually a lot stronger, which is fucking hilarious. For some fucking reason, they decided to make the character weaker in the fucking sequel. And by the way, this is a situation where I played on easy and played on super hard. I played on the exact same fucking difficulty, but for some fucking reason, because we're playing as a woman for the fucking this game, we get a chance where the character is fucking somehow has less shit going on and is weaker and can't fucking shoot as accurately. And it is fucking ridiculous that they essentially nerf you. Where it got to the point where I'm like fucking beating my head against the wall because I'm just trying to find a place to sit down during a shootout, and then bullets will just start randomly fucking hitting me. I'm like, bro, I'm in a fucking 4-roomed wall. There's no way you're fucking hitting me. They're like, no, because we want you to focus on stealth. Why? You didn't do that in the last game. You let me be either stealthy or fucking a gun crazy maniac. But for some fucking reason, because we have a female main character, we're going fucking stealthy focused. Why? Like, there's no fucking reason for that.
That's your story. You're sticking to it. I'm not going to argue with you because, you know, hey, that's how you feel. And I didn't think that this was fucking amazing or anything, but it's just like, yeah, guys, learn from this, by the way, people. It's like, yeah, a game should be good.
Naughty Dog is bad at making games.
They are. Uncharted, I don't like those. And the first Last of Us, I'm sorry, didn't like it either. I like the story. I like to watch someone play it. But can we please get into an area with gaming now where we don't, like, pay for something just when we can get the same experience watching somebody do it online for free? Like, I just...
But that's the problem with this game is that, like, this isn't indicative of the games that came out this year. Like, there's nothing about this game that stands out. The games either this year or the year prior or years prior didn't do better. So it's like, yes, we've had games where you can do both that. I don't even say the first one. It's like, yeah, I enjoy playing the first one. The first one is a great third-person shooter. It's one of Naughty Dog's best. This is a terrible third-person shooter. Like, I'm playing a third-person shooter fucking 10 plus years ago that has way more fun than this is.
I get you, man. But moving on, there's another big one. We'll make this one actually pretty short because there's really not a whole lot to say about it because it fucking sucks. Mafia, the Definitive Edition. The reason why this is up here is because we both agree with it. We both played it, and we both, I think, had high hopes, and the fucking thing was trash.
I had no hope.
See, I had hopes because I like Mafia 3, and I actually liked Mafia 2 back in the day, but I'm playing this, and I was like, okay, you're going to take some of the things from Mafia 3 and put this in the first one, and not to mention the graphical, awesomeness is going to be happening. Graphics were fine. I love the graphics, but then it's like, dude, you didn't change anything else to a point where, like, you have one of the worst racing levels in the history of racing levels in fucking sandbox games, and they did the exact same one.
It was even bad back in the day, because back in the day, when I played the original Mafia, I never got past that because it was so unbelievably bullshit. Because the difficulty for the game, easy, medium, hard, actually also influences that race for some fucking reason. I don't know how a fucking damage modifier somehow makes the AI way harder. So it got to the point where after 6 or 7 attempts, I can do it because there's a 6-lap race and it takes like 2.5 minutes to get through one lap. So you have to do it like fucking 20 minutes in this race. And it is infuriating because you have to win. So you have to set it to easy. That's the only way to get past it because the driving in this game is fucking terrible. And honestly, I've never liked any of the Mafia games. Mafia 1 wasn't that good, and the racing was terrible. Mafia 2 really fucking sucks. Oh my god, don't even get me started on that one. And Mafia 3 has really a lot of bad mechanics to it. It has an interesting story, which spoils itself every chance it fucking gets. It's fucking weird. It's so bad for storytelling. Oh my god. The gameplay is really not that good. So when the fucking Mafia is coming out, I'm like, well, maybe they'll fix it. It looks better. And it's literally just, they got the identical game. Like, I get that they have to get the same game, same story. But the problem is they didn't change any of the mistakes. They didn't fix any of the issues.
Yeah. And that's the biggest thing here is, like, you can do a definitive edition. It is what it is. But, like, fuck, dude. Like, at least define something. But now we're going to go into... I don't even know if I have a lot of energy left, but I got to tell you, dude, like, I'm starting to come back up like coffee because this piece of fucking vile piece of fucking shit.
That's man. I ain't going on this. I ain't going on this shit. Last of Us is way worse than Doom Eternal.
Hell fucking no, dude.
Oh my god.
Gary in the chat. Gary in the chat, bro. Marauder, am I fucking right?
I think he thinks Last of Us is way worse than Doom Eternal.
No, this is the worst game I played in years. Like, literally fucking years. This fucking piece of goddamn garbage literally goes out of his way to fuck with you. To literally fuck with you on a personal fucking level. It is horrifyingly fucking bad. So I didn't like the 2016 game, but at least it had certain things that were kind of cool, like a functional melee button. Really fucking basic. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. You get into this game, the melee button, it has no purpose anymore. It just shoves people away. They took
but actually, it doesn't even do that. Because that would imply it actually shoves it. It does nothing to people. Like, you just do it, and it doesn't even register to the fucking enemy. So the only reason it ends up becoming useful is the bloodshot. But the problem with that is it's a power-up to your melee, but you can't control when you use it. So as soon as it charges up, it could be a random little enemy or it could be a big boss. It'll just use it anyway, which became very frustrating, where it's like, okay, that's a really powerful power. I want to choose when to use it. You don't get that choice. I don't think this game is worse. I don't think this game even deserves to be on this worst of the list. Is it? I don't even think it's a bad game, but the problem is the first half of the game up until the Marauder is actually a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it because it was very arcadey. It felt like Unreal Tournament. There's a lot of good stuff to it. But the problem with the game is the only way it can feel to make more difficult is to just make it less fun. It doesn't increase the difficulty by making the game more fun. It just makes it more annoying. So the Marauder shows up, and it's like, well, fuck. Now I got to change up my entire gameplay where I got to just run around the environment, kill all the little enemies, so that I can just focus on this one dude. It sucks the fun. Every single subsequent level after that sucks the fun out of the game, where it just goes from a 7 to a fucking 3.
Well, and on top of that too, though, it's like, guys, it's fucking a first-person shooter. It's Doom. Read the room. Everyone fucking likes Doom because of the heavy metal, the fact that you're in fucking the most cartoony 3-year-old fucking hell I've ever seen. Like, I hate the idea that, like, oh, we're a badass fucking metal, like, kill demons game. So fire, death, blood. It's like, oh, yeah, we get it, you 13-year-old with your fucking, like, man, it's cool, bro. Like, you're gonna add a dragon next, you fucking, oh my god, it's like a little boy made this game. But what's indicative of just how Alan was saying earlier and how I was saying, where it's trying to fuck with you, it's trying to make you not have a good time on purpose. He was on the Joe Rogan podcast, the guy who made this fucking game. And they're talking about, like, hey, man, like, so what to look forward to, like, what kind of multiplayer stuff you got? I used to love playing this. It's like, oh, no, we took that out. We took it out. Oh no, we took it out because we want to have a different multiplayer where they can invade each other's games and fuck with each other. And Joe was like, well, yeah, you probably shouldn't want to do that because don't you want people to have like, fun time, like having very basic multiplayer stuff? Like you just want them to invade the other people to fuck them over? That's kind of toxic community. He's like, well, we like that. It's really cool. It's like, oh my god.
Well, they wanted to pull a Dark Souls kind of thing, and it's like I get that you want to take the multiplayer out because honestly, no one liked the multiplayer back in the day. And I'm always a fan. It's like, hey, take the multiplayer out, make the single player better. They clearly were doing different stuff.
But like, here's another thing they're doing that was different too. Is like, and I mean this in the sense of like reading the room, but like they fucking people want to go boom, 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 and shoot people, right? Why is this turning into fucking Mario Brothers, where half the game, my whole camera angle is up the ass of a mountain all the fucking time, where I have to jump and grab onto something, and then I turn around, but I can't see the area around me because it's still in first person because someone didn't think to fucking move the camera and zoom it out. Very basic fucking PS1 level options, guys. And then I have to do another platform, and then if I die, it kills my main health, and I gotta play the whole fucking thing all over again. Because fuck you, player. We're not making this for you to enjoy it. We're just enjoying to torture you. Fucking
it's
bullshit.
Weird because like they wanted to add in a bunch of stuff because they wanted to change it up where it's like, hey, they didn't want it just to be shoot people for the whole game, which I can applaud that. However, if you try something and fail, I'm not going to give you points for trying. That's not how life works. So it's like when I'm looking at something like Wolfenstein 2, and that game is fantastic from start to finish, and the only complaint was that it's too much story. It's like, okay, that's fine. Where it's like, hey, they want to focus more on story. This, they're like, well, we don't want to just make a shoot bang for the whole time. So we're going to just throw story out the window where it feels like there was an in-between game because there's so much bullshit that happens between the end of the first one and the start of this one that just makes no sense. So you're just going from like, apparently you're planet hopping now, but apparently you always could. You're like a knight of a Templar or something. And apparently this is all lore from Doom. But if you only ever played 2016, none of this shit makes sense. It does not give a fuck about, getting people in from the last game. And it was so confusing to play. And it's like, I didn't really even mind the whole jumping and stuff like that. I was like, well, it changed it up. And I did enjoy that. But it got to the point where it felt really pointless and meandering. Like, we need to stretch this game out. So we're going to add platforming. I'm like, that's not really that fun, especially if this is the point of the game where it becomes way less fun to actually do the shooting and fighting.
Yeah, and I was trying to find this, and I can't. But they even came out with some DLC. And the
yeah,
DLC,
I heard about that.
Yeah, the DLC, it costs money, and if I'm wrong and it doesn't cost money, people tell me, and I'll just fucking...
Oh, it does. No, it's a paid DLC.
But the DLC literally has this fucking stupid costume you wear, so you can look like an idiot while you get killed. And it's like, on top of everything, you guys are like, hey, you guys already spent $60 on this game that basically was already half off a fucking month after, just like what happened with the Doom 2016 game, which is also really fucking annoying. But then, give us more money so you can look stupid. It's like, you guys are taking advantage of how fucking dumb your audience is. And I don't like to judge fans of shit. I don't
Yes,
like
you do.
Yeah, you're right, I do. That didn't take long enough.
Right.
But they literally just like slap their stupid fucking fans in the face and are like, oh my god, Doom Guy did it. I want to suck his cock. Let's fucking keep going. Hit me again, Doom Guy. Yes. No. Fucking stupid. You guys should be fucking upset that they fucked with you on purpose. You are literally such an embodiment of what's wrong with the gaming industry in general. This fucking like just, yes, punish me more, daddy. I'll keep buying you. I keep buying your shit. Yeah, fuck yeah. Oh, it doesn't work. Cyberpunk doesn't work. Oh, I guess I'll just wait again and then buy the next fucking thing from the whatever. It's like, dude, stop, you motherfuckers. Like, please, someone, just act like a person when it comes to any of these fucking video games. If someone did this to you with the fucking a movie, you'd be on the internet. Oh, I don't like when Wonder Woman. I don't like that Star Wars characters were in the Star Wars show. I don't like. But with this shit, you're totally down to let them fuck you in the ass. You fucking deserve it. Like, I don't know. I hate this fucking game. I really, really do. I don't know if I said that yet.
Yeah, and that's why Last of Us 2 is the worst game of the year. I'm sorry, you did this to me twice in a row.
It might happen again. I don't know.
I probably will. Fuck you. Fuck this list. Last of Us 2 is the worst game of 2020. No one can convince me otherwise.
I'll make it out to you. Number 10 on our best games of the year. And we're in the final stretch, guys. But this, number 10, best game of 2020, Half-Life. Alex, tell them why, sir.
Well, Half-Life 3 is never coming out, so this is the closest concession we're going to get. It isn't. Half-Life 3 is never coming out. But when I picked this game up, I was like, okay, this is set in between. I think it's Half-Life. I think it's set a little bit after Half-Life 2. I don't know exactly where it's set. I'm not the biggest like lore person when it comes to Half-Life, so I don't really know exactly where this is set. But it was just a really inspired because Valve did with their Vive, and this is exclusive to that. It's just very inspired as far as how they're using their abilities, the level design. It looks great for a VR game. Most VR games look like fucking good PS2 games. So the fact that this looked a little bit better than that was really good. I like the fucking I like the level design. I like the story. I like the gunplay. It was really a lot of fun, and it reminded me of playing Half-Life 2, where it's like, yeah, this is probably the pinnacle of VR first-person shooters. So seeing this was a lot of fun.
Moving on, and I do want to check this out at some point. I know 90 is one of our old co-hosts really like this game too, so I want to check it out. But to make up with Jet and you guys are yelling at me saying, it's not my list.
Yeah.
Super Mario Brothers 35. There you fucking go. Now, this is a game for your ass. Free, by the way.
Yeah, what the fuck? Who are you talking to?
Wow, what do you mean?
Actually, don't even ask that. I already told you, you're not allowed to talk to me.
What'd you say? I don't know what you said. I'm sorry.
I'm with Dad on this one.
Are you fucking serious? Did you play this?
No!
What the fuck are you talking about?
I'm not saying it's bad, but you're really putting this on the best of?
Fuck yeah. So
it's a fun fucking, the fun 20-minute time waster at best.
No, it's not a time waster at all. It's actually a long fucking type of gameplay through. So basically what it is this Battle Royale for Mario Brothers. And every time you play the game, and everyone, everyone's played Super Mario Brothers 1, you guys can probably beat this shit with your eyes closed. But the thing is that whatever you do affects other players, just like Mortal Kombat, Puzzle Combat, and Deception. It's just like that. So basically, if I kill Goombas, if I stomp on turtles, if I do all this shit, I'm sending them over to your screen, fucking you up. And then the points that you actually get to save your points. So you get to buy things. It has a monetary system, Alan. It actually has a monetary store.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying this should be on the worst stuff, but I'm sorry, but this to me is like it's a fucking 20-30 minute time waster where it's like, yeah, you just gotta play it for fun, cool, maybe you'll play it again, but like best of the year? I don't know.
Yeah, number 9, one of the best of the year. Absolutely.
Nah, man, that's something you put as like an honorable mention.
Oh, you're a jerk. But anyways, guys, this is free and it's only around till March, so definitely fucking play this.
Play it. 20 minutes later, you'll forget about it.
You won't. I'm telling you, people. I got stuck on this for hours. This was fun.
It's very
fun. Moving on though, UFC 4.
What?
Oh fuck yeah, dude! This game was amazing.
This terrible.
It's not terrible. It's a good list. It's a.
I didn't know they made a UFC game.
So delicious. I love this list. I'm 20.
Died when HQ died.
No, dude. I fucking love this game. I liked UFC 2. I didn't like UFC 3 as much. I thought there were some things that are pretty cool about it. But over here, they managed to really do a great job with this fucking, with the facial stuff, with how to make a character, the fucking places that you actually fight in. Feels very, very authentic to just how mixed martial arts actually is. I like that. It wasn't some crazy storyline that they actually had in like NBA 2K, whatever the fuck, where it's like, oh, I gotta do this fucking thing and I can only accomplish this goal through basketball. It's like, no, this is about fucking sports. This is about, competition. And the way you actually continue on the game and the way your character ages per, how great you are about fucking winning matches and how fast you win in matches can actually affect, your what do you call that? Like just your longevity. So I like the retirement system. I like the fucking online. It worked right away. It was fine. Fucking amazing pairing system that they actually have for you to play with other people that are the same level as you. Great leveling up system. It's literally close to like the Call of Duty leveling up system. I love prestiging on Call of Duty just like how I love prestiging on here. This is some good shit. I fucking love this game. The only thing that keeps it from being higher up is that it is a sports game. It is a UFC game. And that's usually not my thing. I don't like to just play sports games. I like to shoot things, whatever. But this is a completely different type of feel. And fuck Alan. Moving on.
I mean, sure, whatever the fuck you.
No, you were talking about this, and Gandhi was talking about this too. I'm pretty sure you would have voted for this as well. But tell people about Empire Sin because I was unaware about how great this game was before you said anything about it.
Yeah, and there might be there's probably going to be definitely a couple games on this list that people are like, what the fuck? Like, what is this even about? But this was just one of the ones where I just kind of, again, I randomly saw it like on Steam. I'm like, whatever, RTS. Because those could be fun, but those usually suck like 8 hours out of your life. And you're like, whatever. But the reason I kind of got into it is because yes, it has all the same RTS, like something like not tropical per se, but something like Age of Empires, where it's like, hey, you have your, you got to set up your businesses, you got to, manage all the money, you got to do all this stuff. But what made this really interesting was the combat, because usually when you're getting RTSs, it's usually highlight your troops and just click them, and then they just battle it out. And depending on the power, you get, you fucking win or lose. With this, it's like, no, we're gonna do XCOM combat, and I fucking love XCOM combat. People don't know what that is. It's grid style, so it's like, hey, you get a guy, you put him behind cover, he gets a reduction in damage and accuracy, so people will miss him more often. But then he gets an accuracy bonus because he's behind cover and he's in a good area, and it's that kind of stuff. And it makes a lot of sense with the setting, because the setting's in 1930s Chicago, so the height of Prohibition. So you have that situation, so it makes sense. Like, you walk into an area and there's like 3 guys there, and you're usually outnumbered, but that would make sense. Like, you're not going to murder 45 people in the heart of Chicago. You'll fight like 5 people in the streets, because that's kind of how shit was back then. The reason it's not higher on the list is because this game's kind of a huge fucking mess. Animations don't load in. Characters will just start shooting infinitely. It is a huge mess, but they are working on fixing it. But it's, for what they have right now, it is fucking incredible.
Yeah, man, that's Empire of Sin, guys. That's actually number 7 on our list. But moving on, speaking of XCOM and everything, XCOM Chimera Squad, dude. I'm surprised that you actually were into this, because people were talking shit about it.
Oh, I don't know why they were. They're talking shit about it because it's very different to XCOM. And again, moving right on to it, literally one of my favorite games that I've ever played. Like, not this particular one, but XCOM 2. I fucking love XCOM 2. Like, I bought it on the Switch. I fucking love that game. It is so much fun. And what it is, it's just like, yeah, this one, it's they changed up a little bit different. Instead of it being like a chess game where it's like you have your side, you move all your pieces, and the enemy does it. You have the initiative, so it's like you'll have your guy, then the enemy team, and it'll go vice versa depending on various stats. Will let them go forward or through the line. So what they do is, like, you get to breach in. So every mission starts off with you breaching through a window, like you're fucking SEAL Team 6, and then you get your chance to attack. And based on like how you do that initial attack, lets you set up. So if you botch it and your guys get shot, or you go through a window that everyone's already aiming their guns at you, you'll get lit up. You might even lose a dude. But if you manage to sneak up behind them and do stuff, you get to just destroy them. And it became this, and it's a really interesting story. It's very similar to the Far Cry Saints Row, where it's like there's 3 different clans and you got to figure out what's going on and shit. And it just became a very fun, small little XCOM DLC that I hope they add this mechanic into the next game.
Yeah, man. I'm looking at this. It actually looks pretty cool. It seemed still kind of like chess, just without the squares or whatever. But at the same time, like, yeah, this looks cool as fuck. I like how crisp the graphics look. But yeah, man, that's XCOM Chimera Squad for your ass. Moving on. People are gonna be confused about this one, but I'll explain it. So it's Call of Duty Warzone. So I thought that this came out last year. And the thing is, I'd be like, oh man, too bad I didn't play it like a lot last year and didn't put it on my list back then, because I fucking love this game. It's great. But that was Modern Warfare. This didn't come out till March of this year. And it's technically still going on. Black Ops Cold War came out, and Warzone is now, once again, a new game. And I guess it's going to be continual. I think this is going to be the next Fortnite, as far as like every fucking year to give it awards, blah, blah, blah. But I gotta tell you guys, this got me into Battle Royales. I didn't like Fortnite. I played a little bit of Apex Legends. I didn't dig that too much because it was too fucking hard. And I think Warzone is a very, very easy, like, first-timer beginners kind of game to get into the Battle Royale stuff. And at the same time, if you're really, really into it and, you're a badass, dude, like, this is, like, one of the most easiest solo, like, Battle Royales I've ever played. You know what I mean? Because like, every place has a fucking, like, identity. You can actually have favorite places on the map. Like how we do. But you, man, I mean, you play so much with me, Ganja, Anthony, etc. What do you feel about this game after it's not the thing that we play all the time? Like, do you still like it, or you feel like, no, I was just playing it because I was wanting to play with you guys?
Well, that's actually the only reason I played it first, because I haven't played a Call of Duty game since Black Ops 3. I think I beat the campaign for that, and that was the last time I ever played a Call of Duty. Just because I started off with the original Modern Warfare, and I liked that, but the series just kept getting worse and worse as it went along, and I just fell the fuck off. So when you're telling me about Warzone, because you told me about this, you told about Call of Duty and Warzone, I'm like, I don't really give a fuck. But then you're just like, hey, just play it once. I'm like, I didn't really like it. But then I still had to download it because that game's like 5,000 terabytes. So when you're like, hey, let's play it all together with a bunch of people, it became a lot more fun. Because I never liked Battle Royales either. Because I play a lot of Battlefield and a lot of shooters, so I'm generally pretty good at shooters. But I die a lot because I'm very aggressive. I run around a lot, so I tend to get shot a lot. So the idea of like, oh, I die once and that's it, I'm like, that doesn't sound fun. You spend 5 minutes loading in, you have to spend 20 minutes finding anyone, get shot once and you're dead. I'm like, I don't give a shit. But the first thing that got me interested is like, hey, you die? Cool, you get another chance. You get to do a one-on-one fight, and I'm like, I'm great at one-on-one fights, especially in a close quarters with cover. Cool. So that immediately got me interested in that. And the more I played it, I should have just went and bought Modern Warfare afterwards. I enjoyed the shooting so much that I'm like, I want to just buy the game. And I fell in love with Modern Warfare. So this to me is definitely deserves to be on the list because it's standalone, it's free, and if you like it, you get to play the fucking game, and it's the fucking base game is really good too. The campaign's pretty fucking good. The multiplayer is just Battlefield, so it's fantastic. So it does everything it needs to do. It gets you in. It's a fun ass game, and if you want to fucking spend money on it, you can.
Yeah, man. No, I really love this game. I like how it's made for the players too. You know what I mean? Like, there's lots of things they do here that, I feel like, oh, like you're finally doing not Call of Duty shit while you're just trying to get money out of me all the fucking time. It's like, no, you have the option to give us more money if, obviously you want to be available to that.
And they made money. People bought stuff, the battle pass and shit like that. But like, I've not, besides buying the base game, I've not really spent anything else because I think the idea of buying cosmetics for a first-person game is fucking stupid. But that's just me.
Exactly. Yeah. But moving on, this is your chance to go on your little nerdy thing here, Hades. Dude, this game is fucking incredible. I love it so very much, but at the same time, like, I didn't play enough of it to actually rate it. This is not on my top 10 at all, but I totally get where you're coming from with this. But tell people about this game and etc.
So when I said earlier, I'm gonna do something slightly different. So when I said earlier that there are better games this year that had better stories, Hades. I'm gonna go on a rant, but this time it's gonna be happy. Hades is one of the most incredible games that I've ever fucking played because I fucking love Greek mythology. And anyone that's had a conversation with me knows I love Greek mythology. I love Hercules. I love all that shit. So anytime you do something interesting in Greek mythology, I'm already in. So this game immediately, I love roguelikes. Roguelikes are a fucking incredible game genre. But the problem is you have to fucking beat the entire game without dying. And that can be incredibly frustrating for people. So I do recommend this, but on the idea that this game is incredibly difficult, but it rewards you. So every single death doesn't treat like a punishment. It treats like a progression to the story. Because every time you die, a character will come up with you with a new dialogue. Every single thing is voice acted. So you have the characters talking to each other. He's learning. He's being frustrated. You can hear it in his voice. Everyone has something interesting to say. Sometimes you'll get powers or items or stuff based on how you die. The game will basically acknowledge how you die. One of the characters goes, oh, you got killed by that enemy? Oh, that's fucked up. Next time, try dodging or some shit like that. The game is always trying to help you. And every single death gets remembered. So you're trying to go through and you feel the frustration. And for anyone that knows anything about Greek mythology, you're able to the thing about Hades is supposed to be that the realm of Hades is supposed to be difficult. It's supposed to be confusing. It's supposed to trap the person in there in a crushing defeat. And this genre fits perfectly because the levels are always changing. So you can't sit there and learn the level. You have to just be good at the game's mechanics. And you spend so long trying to figure that out, but the game becomes incredible because you're learning it all. Yeah. So it becomes more about like how well can you use a certain item versus how good the item actually is.
Yeah, and I feel like they pretty much did what Dead Cells did, but did it way better. Which is cool. I mean, I think Dead Cells was amazing, but this game was like, no, well, let's perfect it a little bit. And I'm curious if someone's going to perfect it after them. Maybe Bloodstain comes back out. I know that Ritual of the Night from last year was fucking amazing, but maybe they come do something.
On that game, the only reason it's not higher on the list is I think the ending sucks. Because it's one of those things where it's like the game spells out an ending, and basically the whole point of the game is to get out of Hades. And you get out of there, and I'm like, that's going to be kind of weird. How are they going to continue this gameplay loop? Because this game, like, there's so much story that I haven't even encountered yet. How are they going to complete this gameplay loop? Well, in order to get the quote-unquote real ending, you have to actually beat the game like 10 times. And I'm like, yeah, no, fuck you, buddy.
Yeah.
That's not, you don't play like that with me. I should replay a game because I want to, not because you're forcing me.
Yeah, dude, but no, this is actually up there. Lots of people are loving this game, so I'm glad that it's up on our list too, so we don't get yelled at. But speaking of not getting yelled at,
if the next game on here is Ghost of Tsushima, I'm walking out.
That's okay.
I know how your bullshit thing's working. You fucked me over twice in a row.
I didn't do nothing to you. But here's the thing, though, guys. It's all I'm saying. Neither of you are journalists or industry people.
They're arguing about the fucking Last of Us, man. Like, they've been arguing about that shit, and that was like a list and a half ago. Fuck off.
Yeah. Solid is like mad at them, too. Like, you saw your keyboard warriors with a gripe. It's like, I don't think they're really trying to beat Last of Us ass.
Oh, no, there are a lot of keyboard warriors with a gripe when it comes to Last of Us on both sides.
Okay, well, yeah, shit. Hopefully everything's cool there. Moving on, though. See, right here, Animal Crossing New Horizons. You guys need to play this so you guys can calm the fuck down, all right? This is, personally, this is my number one fucking favorite game. This is easily the number one best game that came out this year. Worked right out of the fucking box. It's fun as shit. The game literally looks out for your fucking benefit, telling you, hey, you're playing too much of this fucking game. Might want to chill the fuck out a little bit. A constant, there's never a lack of things to do in this game. You constantly can go around fucking hitting trees, planting seeds. That rhymed. I didn't mean to. Fucking literally, build your fucking house, make it look the way you fucking want it to make it look. Sell shit to people. Join other people's fucking worlds and everything. This game is so much fun, and the thing is like during the coronavirus thing and during like the fucking day that Doom Eternal came out, Animal Crossing was able to get everybody together and not in this crazy ass like fight people kind of way or hey put more money into this so you can get this blah blah blah. It's like no, this game is not. This game's like a friend, you know. Like I fucking love this game so much. But I gotta ask you, Jet. I don't know when was the last time you played this, but do you agree with this at all? Of this being so high on the list?
I do. It's my daily dose of happiness every time I turn on this game because, like, the thing is, when you play this, you're not really playing for any like bad intent. I mean, unless like you go around hitting villagers with nets and whatever the fuck, or putting pitfalls down. But it's just that necessary happiness that everyone needs during these times.
Yeah, and then, like the thing is like it's so peaceful. But then if you want to be crazy about it and like have a bunch of shit done by a certain time within that day or whatever, you can do that too. And you can make it more action-packed if you need it to. Like, there's just so many things. Like, this game has nothing but options. I fucking love the idea of a game that's just like, you play the way you want to play. Go enjoy. You know, it's there. We made it, and now it's just for fucking fun. You know, Gary's gonna beat all of this ass.
Yeah, they're playing over The Last of Us, and I'm not sure who's gonna win or who's gonna lose.
Yeah, we'll see. That'll be like to be continued. Last
Pretty
number
much.
3. I'm glad you agree with this next one, dude. Final Fantasy VII Remake. Oh, it's so good. Were you a fan of this game from back in the day? Because I never played the original Final Fantasy.
I never played a Final Fantasy. I never played a Final Fantasy game prior to 14. So, because the thing is, and this is, I'm trying my best to break free from it, but I've never liked turn play. I think the idea of turn play gameplay is the stupidest gameplay mechanic ever made. And for you who don't know what I'm talking about, Final Fantasy and Pokemon. I know y'all like Pokemon and y'all swear at it, but the idea of I punch you, now I wait to get punched in the face is the stupidest gameplay mechanic I've ever fucking seen. It makes no fucking sense. So I never played Final Fantasy VII. So when I heard about the remake and heard that they're going to make it like Final Fantasy 15, I was like, good. Because
You don't like the Mother series either?
I never played them.
Yeah, and actually, I don't want to lose my gamer cred, but I didn't either.
Are they also turn play? Because if they're not, I'll try them out. But I've really
they're a different type of turn play. They take a lot of different liberties.
Oh,
Yeah.
probably.
Which makes sense. I mean,
Because,
like Parasite
XCOM
Eve or whatever, you get the option or whatever.
XCOM did that too, because XCOM is still technically turn play, but the reason I like that is because you can move your character around. But with the Final Fantasy VII remake, I'm like, well, that's cool they're remaking it, but I don't want to sit there. Oh, good, these things look at 4K quality. I can't wait to just stand and get hit by a bunch of dumbasses. It's like, no, we're gonna make this like Final Fantasy 15, and I fucking love 15. 15 to me was like, Kingdom Hearts game almost, but just better in every way because Kingdom Hearts.
Crystal Chronicles is also a Final Fantasy game. That one's not turn-based.
Isn't that the grid style though?
I mean, you got to fight inside like a circle thing that you have to carry around, but like no, it's basically a hack and slash.
But I'm looking at this, and it's like, what's cool about this is it reminds me of a little bit of Monster Hunter in certain ways, but then at the same time, it's like the character development, by the way, too. Just like when they're shooting, talking shit to each other, whatever. I like that. I like that their abilities match their character so very well, which is probably the same case with back in the day too. The only thing that I can say that makes this not like a number 1 of the year fucking game for me personally is I don't like how undeservingly popular Cloud is with all the girls and all the people in general. He's too fucking amazing, too fucking perfect. It reminds me of what I don't like about certain animes. I'm not going to go on a big rant about talking shit about animes or anything, but it's just kind of like, dude, like, we get it. You're fucking amazing. You know what I mean? And granted, I do a good job having the friends be very interesting. Like this guy right here, Tifa is another one, and blah, blah, blah. But, like, I feel they should have went further with that. You know what I mean? But
they definitely changed a lot, but yeah, it's one of those things where it's like the reason I was even interested is because they made the gameplay look really good, and I remember saying like, "Hey, show me what it's like when I'm not fighting a boss," and that was one of the things I was worried about. Like, what's the minute-to-minute gameplay? Because the boss fight was cool, but what's the minute-to-minute gameplay? And I think that's where it kind of shines because I still feel that it has the same, like it has a similar problem to Final Fantasy 15 where I feel like you don't fight enough random grunts. Like the game, it does change it up, but I feel like this game is more about the boss fights, where it's like every boss fight is good, except for that house. And everyone that knows that house is that's the worst boss fight in the entire game. But every boss fight in this game is fantastic. It's memorable. Even the Sephiroth fight, that fight was fantastic. It kicked my ass a bunch of times, but it was a good ass fight. I think the story is good, but the problem is that there's a middle portion, and now I could talk about this. That ghost yard shit is the worst part of that game. That is boring. It is the same old level. There's almost no enemies, so there's no fighting. So it's just you wandering around empty fucking environments trying to figure it out. And because Cloud can't jump about 1.5 feet, you're just stuck there. But guess what? When the end of the game happens, Tifa can just jump on cars and shit. That was a mechanic the game never had. So it's like, can you jump or can you not? Did you make this game in 5 different parts by 3 different development teams? It sure as fuck feels like it. Because this game feels like it was cobbled together by a bunch of random pieces. The fact that it runs is fucking phenomenal. It blows my mind. But again, it has that really weak 10-hour middle part that I was legitimately... I was in the call with them, just going, where the fuck am I supposed to go? Fuck this stupid level. This is the 5th fucking room I've walked into. That's the exact same thing. Like, what am I doing?
Yeah. No, I can kind of agree with you there, too, because I was actually just as fucking irritated about that shit as you were, so I get it. But here's the thing, though, guys. We're right down to the end, man. We're going to talk about our number 1 game of the year, 2020. Alan, I'm sorry. Resident Evil 3.
No, I know you're fucking with me. I know you are, because that's on your worst.
Yeah, no, I'm joking.
I would give you that if you fucking did that. I'm out.
No, right here, man. Ghost of Tsushima, man. Number 1.
Good,
number 1 game of the year. I am so curious what this chat's going to look like. No, but Ghost of Tsushima, dude. I agree. I don't agree that should be number 1, but at the same time, it's like I see where you're coming from. I'm not going to go and try to put you under the bus. This is a fucking experience, this Ghost of Tsushima. But go ahead and suck its dick. Like this game's amazing.
I've been. It was one of the things where I was worried about this game because when I first heard about it, I was like, oh, this looks really cool. But I'm like, samurai sword fighting games, you're either, you go the fucking Sekiro or you go Neo, and it's like they could be fun, but sometimes they're just really not that interesting. But I do like third-person sword fighting, especially open world. So I'm like, well, what is this game? And I was looking into it, and I delved right into it, watched hours of gameplay, and I was still nervous because I'm like, it might be good, but I like it. And one of the things right away, I wasn't a huge fan of the sword fighting because I didn't really get a chance to learn it. But this game is phenomenal. It gives you everything that you want. This is one of the best open world games that I've ever played. Like the only one that's better would be Witcher 3, but this carries a lot of similar stuff to it. Because again, this is an open world third-person sword fighting game. Sword fighting is very difficult to learn, but once you master it, it is fantastic because it's very direct. It's not like, you compare this to Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy, you just have this fucking 80-foot sword and you're just slicing it like whatever. This is very direct. It's very similar to how actual sword fighting would go. So when you're doing crazy shit, it feels earned. The visual, the fucking art direction, fuck Last of Us. Last of Us art direction is fucking terrible. This is beautiful. Every single environment, every moment is an art piece. It is some of the best visually. This feels like if Breath of the Wild, instead of going for the cartoony style, went for a more realistic, but kept the same tone. Because you see the way the wind moves. When you do the wind mechanic to get your fucking direction, you see the leaves and birds flying. It is a beautiful fucking game. But the best part about this, and the most important part, is this is an open world game. This is probably one of the best open world game to come out this year, easily. Because what's the point of an open world, and the most important part of an open world is, what are you doing when you're not doing a main quest? Because the main story is pretty good, but what are you doing when you're not doing a main story? Well, go and pet a fox. Now that sounds mundane, but in order to go to that fox, you follow it, you do a quick little jumping puzzle, and you get an upgrade, and you get a pet a fox, which a lot of people like. So you get to do all that stuff. Well, maybe you don't really want to do that. You just go and you'll find a bandit cap. You get to practice your combat. You get to get more stances. Hey, look over to the distance. There's always something to do. It's either a main quest, a side quest, a bandit camp, a small little side adventure. There's always something going on, so you never feel bored. You never feel like, shit, what am I supposed to do? Or, man, there's nothing to do in this open world. There's always something going on. Like, I almost finished everything in that game, and it is so much fucking fun. This is, to me, definitely and it runs perfectly. There were no issues. They even added a multiplayer fucking portion of it, which nobody even knew that was happening.
Yeah, man. And what Gary said in chat is actually a perfect way to end this fucking part off. He's saying, I can't get over just how fucking awesome this game is. The world is fucking fantastic. Love the story from start to finish. Should have been game of the year. Best game of 2020. And yeah, dude, I absolutely agree. I feel like this should have won game of the year if it wasn't going to be Animal Crossing or something like that. This was easily the best choice of everything that was available. That was picked at the very, very end of the Game Awards. So yeah, dude, love this. And I forgot who even made this because once again, I'm not a great gamer.
I always confuse Sucker Punch and Naughty Dog for some fucking reason.
Makes
Sorry,
sense.
Sucker Punch and Insomniac. I for some fucking reason always confuse them. But these are the guys, and the thing is, this wasn't really sold on their name because for people that know who Sucker Punch is, they're the guys that made the Infamous games.
Yeah.
And so they really just sold this on a new IP PlayStation. So the fact that it did so well is really heartwarming because it's like, yeah, new IPs can still exist if you put a lot of love and effort into it. And I was worried that, maybe people would think this is appropriation, but no, everyone loved it. I think it's what they put so much effort in making sure they showed respect to the culture, including putting, you can play this fully Japanese if you wanted to. Like, they do that with all the characters, and everything is played respectfully. That I can't wait to see what a sequel is going to be. Hopefully the next one has a name I can pronounce. That'd be really awesome. Because I've been calling it Ghost of the whole fucking thing because I still can't pronounce that name. I don't know why.
Yeah, man. But no, once again, guys, easily the best stuff. We all agree with it. It's fucking amazing. But time to get into the movies, and then we're out of here. We'll go through this, I'm pretty sure, fairly quickly. But if not, yeah. Starting off though, this is all you, dude. Best movies. Number 10 is Wolfwalkers.
Yes, there's a lot of animated stuff that I watch in 2020 because I don't really get around to watching animated stuff, especially movies. So when a buddy of mine's like, "Hey, you want to watch this?" I'm like, "Cool, whatever." And for people that remember the review, I won't go into that much. We did a review a couple episodes back, so be sure to check that out. But it was just a beautiful animation style. It was an interesting story. It was something that a story I never really even heard before. The world was great. The voice acting is phenomenal. And as much as at some points I felt that the 2D that it was lower budget, they definitely pay it off as it goes on. So by the end of it, they're doing phenomenal stuff with their budget. So it's definitely a movie you should stick through. It's one of the best animated movies of 2020, easily.
Yeah, which is crazy because there's been some good shit that came out this year. But moving on, if this thing will actually fucking work for me, here it is. Here we go. Jet, I'm sorry. Scoop.
What?
Fucking love this movie.
First of all, you're on fucking crack.
Did you confuse us?
Yes, was that out of all the fucking movies you saw, you just put this on here to piss me off.
No,
you know
I
what?
Top 10 movies.
This is a fun
Nick only
movie.
saw 10 movies in 2020 and decided he has to put it on this list. Jet just left.
I'm sorry. This is up there with.
I can't believe we just went from Wolfwalkers, which is an emotional story about growing up, and we went over this stupid bullshit.
No, this is a good movie. Here's the thing, man. It's for fucking kids.
I watched like 30 minutes of it. It was fucking stupid, and I don't even I hate Scooby-Doo in general, and this movie is terrible.
Well,
I can't even imagine.
There's the whole thing right there. You hate Scooby-Doo. I love Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, no one else liked this movie either, so I'm with them. Fuck it.
There's lots of kids out there that fucking had a great time watching this. It was fucking cool. Adrian saying, "What grew, Jet? What the fuck?"
It's terrible.
Right? He was saying
Scooby-Doo, by the way, just in case y'all think I'm on your side, Scooby-Doo is terrible in general.
No, it's not. Scooby-Doo is one of the fucking best, and you're wrong as shit.
The same thing every fucking episode.
Jed literally left. I thought you were joking.
How many times do you get fooled by movie props before you realize maybe you're just bad at being detectives?
I mean, I don't know. Thank you, JP says he stands with Nick. Yeah, thank you so much. No, this thing, what I liked about this was that it was able to just be fucking silly. It was able to fucking have modern jokes, blah, blah, blah. It moved fucking fast. It looked beauty-fucking-full. This movie looks amazing. And yeah, if it's stupid or like, I didn't think that joke was funny, it's like, well, yeah, because you're a fucking adult. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
I don't give a shit. I watched Scooby-Doo when I was a kid. It sucked then.
Oh, you're so wrong. But here's the thing. Speaking of sucks, let's talk about fucking Sucker Man, a.k.a. Superman. You're number 8 on this fucking list movie. Superman Red Sun. I'm seeing lots of hammer and sickles back there and everything. Does this get way too adult for something being so fucking childish? Let me know.
I mean, I'll stand by. I don't think comics are childish. But it's one of those things where I'm always going to be a fan of you doing a different interpretation of a character that feels natural. So what this is, and I wish Gandra was here because I'd love to talk to him about it, but this is based on the comic book where it's like, hey, what if Superman landed in the USSR instead of the United States? And it goes into depth at that where it's like, hey, what if this character who is naturally a good person is basically dealt with a situation where it's like, yeah, the USSR was doing a lot of fucked up stuff under the guise of communism. And he's like, wait, no, I'm actually going to embody the actual ideals. And what happens when someone's able to do that? And you see that he generally is able to make the world he's able to make the USSR, Russia, a better place. But then you see that America is going to try to fight him. And he doesn't go tyrannic and evil. He just stops them to defend his country, much like Superman would defend America if it was threatened by Russia. And the interesting thing about the story is it kind of just shows what happens. And I feel a really interesting version of what would happen if Superman was real and was an American. Where it's like, yeah, he manages to make Russia's ideals work. And as a result, America flounders. It falls apart, but then it builds itself up as essentially a better version of what Superman was doing. And you get to kind of see that one of the best way. There's a lot of stuff that very political that goes into this when it comes to ideologies of how capitalism versus communism. So I recommend watching it. But one of the things is that it tries its best to be as intelligent as it can with the writing and the way the characters act. That I don't give it enough credit by just talking about it. That this is something you need to watch, especially the ending of the movie where it's like, yeah, they do a superhero battle because they have to, but they could easily not, because it comes to a situation where it's like, you fix the world, Superman. You need to go, not as a go fuck off, we don't need you, but if the world's gonna grow past this, it needs to grow past you. So it's such an interesting dialogue conversation where it's like, you're actually taking this seriously. You're treating this with enough credence. That is one of the better live action movies that I've seen, especially with Superman, because you take this character that essentially is a godlike being, and what if he was real? And instead of like, oh, Homelander, he's just a murderer. It's like, no, he actually is a good person.
Yeah. No, I might not watch this, I'm going to be honest. But, I mean, it's cool to see that, someone actually likes some new Superman shit, and I'm glad they're doing something different. But moving on, I'll make this one very, very quick. Seth Rogen versus Seth Rogen here. So this movie, I've watched it twice now, believe it or not. And I think, for one, that alone is pretty amazing, considering the fact that I'm always so fucking busy and shit. But, like, when I heard it was like American Pickle, I actually was ready to watch this to talk shit.
And you're literally gonna sit here and put fucking American fucking Pickle on here, you son of a...
What?
Look, at least
You know goddamn well. This movie is just okay. It does not deserve to be on no goddamn best of list.
Look, not a lot of movies came out this year. We're slim pickings.
Yeah, slim
No,
pickings.
there's so many fucking movies that came out. You're gonna pick a fucking American Pickle?
Yes, damn straight I am. Look, I know you like this.
I kind of went Jet a little bit on this one. This stuff sucks.
What the fuck? Jet left again.
I don't think
No, because here's the thing, man. The reason why I give, because like other movies I was thinking of was obviously Spiral, some horror movies, Spiral, Rental, things like that. But going into those, I was like, okay, I'm about to watch these movies, and I'm gonna be like, oh, fucking yeah, I can't wait to watch this horror movie. All right, I enjoyed it. Yay, like it is what it is. And those are my other choices with these horror movies. Host was another one. But looking for this, I was like, I am guaranteeing this movie's gonna be shitty. It's fucking Seth Rogen acting against himself. But dude, like this movie is emotional. It's a period piece, which is really, really cool. Lots of modern jokes. Lots of fucking I don't know why it's stuck on that thing. Oh, there you go.
She looks like she's enjoying herself.
But lots of shit where basically, Seth Rogen is acting against himself, and you'll be like, oh, okay, it's gonna be like the stupid joke of like, like back and forth. It's really not. I know that they obviously use stunt doubles and everything like this too, but I'm looking over here and I'm like, dude, like, he doesn't act like Seth Rogen. Like he plays a straight man twice. He doesn't even play that once in anything. He's playing it twice in one movie, and acting with himself. I'm not even a huge Seth Rogen fan. I mean, I like him. I think he's funny at times. But this movie was funny, like, in a passive way. It wasn't like there was big fucking jokes, a big, like, stupid-ass, what do you call it? Like, Abbott and Costello show, whatever the fuck. Like, slapstick. It's not a lot of slapstick. It's not stoner humor, obviously. It's just a millennial and then a person from back in the day and how close they actually are, in theory. They're not very different because the same shit that we actually hold on to nowadays is the same kind of stuff that we hold on to way back in the day with our grandparents and blah, blah, blah. So it's like, I think that this movie has a pretty good message, and I also think there's something that can be learned with this movie. And I don't know, it's a nice little film. You know what I mean? And
I'll be dead if I ever try to watch a Seth Rogen movie.
Say what?
I don't think he's funny. I don't think he's interesting. I think he's so far up his own ass. Where he's like, oh no, because I'm a comedy, everyone's gonna think of my philosophy. So every single fucking one of his movies, he tries to put his own philosophical bullshit, but it's the philosophical ramblings of a fucking stoner.
And I'm sorry that you feel that way, but you know what though? He's pointing his finger at you and said, "Alan, you give this a chance, you motherfucker."
Hell no.
I didn't see this next one. But number 6 on my best movies of the year, The Trial of the Chicago 7. I did not watch this. I'm surprised you did because honestly, I don't want to watch bummer movies, especially in this year. So I'm surprised that you want to, digest this. But how was this movie, man?
It was interesting because I definitely like Aaron Sorkin because he made The Social Network and he made a lot of movies that I enjoy because he does a lot of biopics and a lot of just talking movies. And I didn't really know much about this Trial of Chicago 7. But I was just like, whatever, I'll watch it because I also don't like Netflix movies, but it's Aaron Sorkin, so I'm like, I'll give it a chance. If people give it genuinely good reviews, I fucking fell in love with it. I'm always a huge fan of period pieces. I'm always a huge fan of you telling you doing your own kind of story within the you telling kind of a story with just drama and all that stuff, especially the way he writes characters. And just this entire thing, because I love courtroom dramas, and this whole thing is just in and out of courtrooms and dealing with stuff. And you have so many interesting character moments. You have so many ways to tell the story where they do a mix of flashback and they do a mix of just courtroom scenes. And just watching that was so interesting. I didn't know where it was going to go next, and they have so many just side characters in that just kind of just are just in and out, and just like everything here is done really, really well. And I was worried that like, oh, they're whitewashing it, whatever. They're gonna do stuff, and they're so hard to goal, but there probably wasn't that the case. But no, I was talking to Ganja because he knew more about this than I do. It's like, yeah, except for some of the stuff where they focus a bit on the patriotism, this is a pretty accurate rendition of what that riot in Chicago was around this time. So this was just a really fun fucking movie.
Yeah, man. I'm really surprised that you would even describe it like that. But yeah, I do want to check this out at some point. Now, this next one, I said that wasn't going to be a tie time, but I'm going to be honest. I fucked up. All right? I fucked up. I'm supposed to put these in a way where they can basically nothing will ever be tied, and then we'll just pick one, that fits within our top 10 list that makes narrative sense. The thing is, though, is I forgot Mortal Kombat Scorpion's fucking Revenge. So over here, what makes sense is to put these two together because originally it was Extraction. So my bad, I almost fucked up the count. But I think these two belong together too because we both gave it the same rating. It was actually in the same spot of our list as far as these two movies go. And I love Extraction, I really do. But Mortal Kombat Scorpion's Revenge was fucking amazing. And
I think Scorpion was better. I think that it just worked out because we replaced those two titles. But I'll do quickly talk about Extraction. I didn't think it was going to be good because again, Netflix movies generally don't do, but they had a pretty decent year. But it's one of those things where it's like I want to watch it because it's Chris Hemsworth, and I'm like, you tried to branch out from being Thor, and you've done well. You were in fucking oh god, I can't remember that fucking movie now. It pissed me off. But the other one was Rush. I'm like, you were fantastic in Rush, and I was like, well, let me see what happens when you're being an action star. And I'm like, it's gonna be the typical bang bang, and then a bunch of guys are gonna get shot. It's gonna be terrible. It's like, no. First action scene was fantastic. It was just again John Wick. I'm like, cool. You're doing gunfights that are cool. And you have a character who's kind of like, he's not like, oh, like The Rock. It's like, I'm this immortal, awesome Superman. It's like, no, he's kind of a fucked up, almost drug addict type person. And I'm just like, yeah, I really, really fucking, Gary. Ooh.
Gary, you know, well, I don't know. Just.
But anyway, one of the things is that they managed to do the action really, really well. There's a lot of dumb parts. But as far as at the end of the day, I was entertained by it. I like the story. There was a good one-shot car chase, which I always like. I always like one-shot car chases when you're in the passenger seat or in the back seat, where you're just like, oh shit, because it feels like you're there. It feels like you're a part of the action. So it was just overall like, I would definitely watch it again. Like someone said, hey, you want to watch Extraction? But fuck yeah. Then we'll put Six Underground on next afterwards.
Yeah, dude. Those two movies would be a great fucking thing going back and forth. Yeah. Now, here's the next one. I'll make this kind of short because you guys are probably sick of hearing about this shit. But Soul. I don't have recency bias like Alan does. He doesn't like when people do that. He doesn't like it when people just really saw something and do a review for. For me,
I'm sorry. It came out and people, hey, what's the best animated movie of the year? And Soul was number one. Like, best animated movie that came out in the last hour.
I gotta be honest, dude. Like, I put that in my mind, and I don't have enough time to watch it again right now. But like, I probably would have had this my number one. Like, this
I'm sure it is.
fucking
Honestly,
amazing.
It definitely is. But okay, Soul is fantastic. We did a review. We went exhaustive into it. It's fantastic. It's immaculately animated. Voice acting is fantastic. Story is heartfelt. It's a story that you need, especially nowadays, where it's like, hey, just teach you, like, hey, be okay with the little things in life. Not your goal isn't all that matters. It's how you also get there. The little things, just walking down the street, being with family, stuff like that is really fucking important. You need that in 2020. And it's fantastic, but again, it's one of those things where it's like, is it great? Yeah, it was honorable mention for me because of just how I feel about recency bias.
Yeah. There's really not much else to say. I mean, I know there's a big issue here that people are probably now disagreeing with because of the fact that it's like, oh no, it is still a black movie. It doesn't matter that Tina Fey takes over the character. No, it actually does. And here's the thing: it's a definitely. I mean, the character dies in fucking 15 minutes, and yes, the body's still used and blah blah blah. But it's like, if you're gonna make fun of horror movies, oh, the black guy dies first, then fucking call out Disney and Pixar and that shit, okay? Like, what the fuck? But I don't think that this is disrespectful to black people. I don't think it's disrespectful to black culture. And granted, I'm not the person to even say or identify that as being the case because I am a fucking Mexican dude, and this is not my movie. But I had fun with it. I fucking almost cried at the end. I think I did cry a little bit. I just don't want to admit it. But The music, everything about this animation, it's so fucking beautiful. It's beautiful in and out. I love this fucking movie. And I strongly recommend you guys watch this instead of that fucking Wonder Woman bullshit. Moving on.
Wonder Woman.
Number 3.
Really?
The King of Staten Island, sir.
No. Oh my.
This,
No,
just to let you know, this is my number 1 movie of the year. Now, where are you going?
I'm trying to leave.
You mad?
You put this above Soul? We're breaking kayfabe. This guy wanted me to put Soul on my top 10 list because he's worried about what the actual number 1 movie is, and I stuck my ground because I'm like, no, I'm not gonna fucking go against it. This motherfucker put King of Staten Island above Soul. That's all him. So that's his fault. Blame him. Don't fucking drag me down here. Someone grab Jet so someone can yell at him. Jet, get back.
I'm scared. I want you to beat my ass.
Oh my fucking god! Someone get Jet Jackson. This is fuck you, dude. I don't know what you're doing. You skip to the next fucking movie. Jesus.
No, I'm sorry, man. We gotta talk about this shit.
Pete Davidson. Fuck that.
So I hate Pete Davidson. I fucking despise Pete Davidson. I think he's not funny. I think he's fucking ugly to look at. I can't stand his voice. I can't stand anything about him. As a person, I can't stand him. And this movie agrees with me. And that's why I love this movie so very much. The reason why I have this bit over here where Bill Burr is showing is on top of just me being such a big fan of him, he's so funny in this, also being so serious. And everybody else that's around Pete Davidson, like the girlfriend that he technically somewhat has in the movie, she calls him out in ways where I've heard Jet say the exact same thing, like literally outside of watching this movie. There's a fucking super emotional scene talking about firefighters and what they go through.
Nah, you only did this because Bill Burr's in this fucking movie.
No, see, here's the thing.
Mandalorian is the best fucking show of the year.
Well, no, that's the only reason why I wanted to watch it was because of Bill Burr. But, like, I was already into this 20 minutes before fucking Bill Burr even showed up. And then, like, just the idea, like, this is something that really puts into mind of, like, hey, man, what would you do if, like, your dad died and you're fucking, with your mom and she's lonely and you're moving on, you're getting older and you're going to move out and you're going to do your own shit? Would you be mad if some dude started banging your mom? And how would you handle him being your stepfather? Would you still do what he fucking tells you to do? Will that be a big fucking thing? There's so many questions that are not even answered here, but are touched upon. There's storyline points that are not finished here because this movie works like real life. It doesn't, like, it gives you enough of the main story, so you do have a beginning, middle, and end, but it doesn't actually tell you, like, fucking... It doesn't tell you everything. It's not an open book. This is a person's life. This is a fucking slice of his life, and we're watching it, and it ends. Like, there's so many things that are uncovered here, or not uncovered. They're still covered, and they could be uncovered later on if we had more of this movie or a show or a universe or anything, and we're never gonna have that. And that's something I really like about Judd Apatow because I had the same emotions I felt watching this.
Fuck that dude. That guy's a bad director too. Fuck you.
No, Judd Apatow and lots of other guys, and I could be getting some names wrong, so I don't want to like say, oh, he did this and this and this. But the people that worked on this movie, many people, also worked on Zack and Miri Make a Porno, Superbad, lots of shit like that. Funny People, those kind of movies. And it's like I've noticed all those movies end with me wanting to dig deeper into that person's life. Recently, I think it was 2 years ago, Jonah Hill finally directed his first movie called Mid-90s, and this movie in Mid-90s go so well together. Like, I feel like I could sit back and watch those two back to back, just like how I would Goodfellas, Casino, and A Bronx Tale. And no, I'm not comparing this to fucking Goodfellas, by the way. I don't want to get mad at me for that shit.
Because this list, you put both those movies on there, so which means you thought this was better than Soul.
Oh yeah, it is.
Oh my fucking god.
Yeah, no, I strongly feel that way. I'm sorry.
You're wrong. You're objectively wrong.
Like this, I can watch numerous. And by the way, I cried on King of Staten Island too, so I want to put that out there. I did cry, just like I cried in Soul. But at the same time, I can watch this again because it's also funny, and there is actually some action in here, and there's other reasons why I want people to watch it. Versus watching Soul, I will not watch again because it makes me look into my life in a really fucked up way, and I'm depressed after I watch fucking Soul. Because
no, fuck you, dude. I didn't think you could make me any more mad than Last of Us not being worst game of the year.
Let's try this. Sonic. Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh my fucking god. I'm out.
Where are you going? Hey, come back.
I'm not getting involved in this. I'm not gonna fucking go down with you.
What are you doing?
Are you serious? Oh my god, you're the worst. Never mind. I take back my pick. Soul's the best movie of 2020. Fuck you, dude.
Yeah, it's almost like you motherfuckers should goddamn watch some more movies instead of being like, oh.
I watched you did, but I didn't watch as much garbage was
you put Sonic up really high.
Oh man, we're gonna top 2018. Holy shit!
Yeah, we're gonna get in trouble.
You're gonna get in trouble.
Oh no, this is your fault because what number one is, that's fully
That
your
was my fault.
Ruth is saying,
my
"Are you
fault.
about to?"
We're getting less shit for that than this. I was about to agree with Nick.
No, see, Ruthless, that's where you fucked up.
Wait, about King of Staten Island over Soul? The fuck? Where am I right now?
Well, because Soul is a sad fucking movie, you know what I mean?
The fucking what?
That's
Yes,
not
that
something you would
motherfucker once in a while.
recommend for
Jesus
somebody
Christ.
to watch. Come on,
Yeah,
now.
come back, please. I can't handle it.
I'm looking over here, man. Sonic. We watched this. This is the last movie I saw in a movie theater. And not to get too emotional here or whatever, but like I watched this with Alan. Like literally, me, him, Roxy, Ganja, Jet. Like I missed that day, man. You know, it's been a fucked up year. And it's just been like really, really depressing. And sometimes I think I might not see any of you guys again. And the fact that like we saw this before the world just fucking
Literally, as soon as we got back, lockdown started happening and all that shit.
yeah, and the fact that dude, I remember the laughter and just us having so much fucking fun watching this together, dude. Like, this is amazing. And the fact that we thought this was gonna be fucking terrible and we were talking shit about this before we saw it. And I was even mad at you. I was like, God damn it, Alan, I want to see this fucking movie. Come on. And it was fucking so much fun. It was so funny in the very beginning. Granted, it stopped being a little bit funny a little bit later on, and it kind of got ridiculous. But then at the same time, it's like it's for kids, and I always love that about something for kids. Is like this entertained on so many adult levels, while totally being dumb as fuck for like tiny children. And I want to have to like watch my kids or explain things if I had a kid and I had them watch this at 2 years old because it's fun and it's great. And you know, dude, like video game movies always get a bad rep, like, oh man, they're all bad. So, you know, shut the fuck up and stop taking everything so goddamn seriously.
Most of them are, but this is one of the ones that manages to break that fucking. It manages to break that cycle, and it's like it's so weird that the video game that manages to make a good movie is something that hasn't had a good product in 20 fucking years. I don't give a fuck about Sonic Mania. They had a bunch of fans just fucking remake Sonic 2, except they added a couple extra fucking mechanics. Who gives a shit? But it's just one of those things where it's like Sonic has such a fucking bad history that they managed to adapt it to a movie over like Mario or any other mascot blows my fucking mind. But yeah, it was enjoyable. It kept the heart. It wasn't overly stupid. Like I expected it to be like Smurfs, but it wasn't overly dumb. They kept to the tone of the character because the character is fun loving. They kept it where it's like it is a little bit funny, but they didn't feel it need to be extra gross or cynical. It's like no, they kept going with it, and it was fun. They did a lot of cool stuff with the character, and they actually had surprisingly smart dialogue. Jim Carrey was not Jim Carrey. He was actually like he does Jim Carrey is, but he's actually a smart, well-written character. The action was really cool to watch, and I really want to see a sequel. Like I'm curious to see what else they're gonna do with this character.
Yeah, and the world, and the Nintendo world. You know, I mean, I curious to see. I know you're gonna say, "Fuck this."
They'll never let them do it.
Let's see Hyrule, man. Let's see.
They'll never. No, they'll never. Nintendo will never let that happen. That's not even me. That Nintendo would never let them do it.
I'm gonna actually put this in some nice production value here, guys. Drum roll, and our number one movie of the fucking year, Bad Boys for Life. Oh, this is why I was warning
the reason that this is number one is because both me and Nick this was the best movie. This at least was top movie of the year, and it's like before people are like, well, what about Soul? It's like, okay, look, Soul is a fantastic, immaculate movie, but the thing about Bad Boys is better than anyone thought it was going to be. Because the first thing everyone says, wow, this movie's incredible. Wow, this movie's good. This movie's actually fun. Like it was, but it was a lot more than that because it showed a vulnerability to Will Smith that we don't get a lot, except when he's trying to make an Oscar movie. It had really good action scenes. It has something that I've always like. If I were to ever be in a room and someone says, "Hey, what do you want to do this action scene?" Oh, you know that part in that movie? Well, do this action scene, but change up a little bit. Every action scene in this movie, I feel like was a reference to another action movie. There's the scene where they're fighting in the garage and all the smoke and stuff. I'm like, that's John Woo. There's literally a Terminator 2 helicopter fucking chase fight. Like every single fight felt like it was inspired by another action movie, and it does it really, really well. But the characters themselves had a lot of growth. You had Martin Lawrence's character who was afraid for Will Smith's life, so he's just like, yo, I don't want you to keep doing this shit. You have Will Smith who's trying so hard to be awesome, but the life keeps kicking him in the nuts. All these characters grew, and they let them be vulnerable and awesome at the same time. So it's not the typical Will Smith's the coolest guy in the world. He is really being tested in this movie of what makes him who he is. And you don't really get to see that a lot. All the characters they bring are interesting. They do the typical fucking villain being related, which I really always hate, but they do it decently well in here. That I watched it twice and I love this movie.
Yeah, I watched it. I had to watch this like actually within a week. Like I watched this around the summer, and I was so fucking busy, but I kept trying to watch this movie, so I watched like the beginning like 5 fucking times, and then like over a course of a week or 2 weeks, I finally got to finish the entire thing, and it was like I'm surprised that I'm entertained by this as many times as I've seen the beginning, but then also I'm entertained by this and not really like needing to watch it in one setting because it's like almost like a show. I watched this like it was a show. And the connective tissue was great. I wasn't like, wait, I forgot. Why is this character blah, blah, blah? I remember their names. I remember the fucking goals. I remember, like, this movie fucking, like, really ages like a fine wine. I mean, and granted, it's only been fucking a year. But what I'm saying, though, is, like, usually movies will age badly, like, within a week. Like, say I watch something, and then, like, 4 days later, I'm like, oh, yeah, I did watch that last week. Whatever. This was, like, I was hungry for more. I was like, oh, dude, I gotta finish fucking Bad Boys
movie, straight up. Like,
yeah.
I never really liked Bad Boys 1 and 2. I remember watching an action scene, Bad Boys 2, going, this would be great if the director was competent. Yeah. And the director is competent here. He knows how to direct action. He knows how to direct characters. Like, because I know we were worried, like, oh, Bad Boys 4, they didn't even do Bad Boys 3. I'm ready. I don't know what the fuck it's going to be, but do it. Especially if you're going to put this much effort into actually telling the characters. I hope you do a passing of the torch, because they brought up Ammo, and I'm like, I wasn't really sold on them. But, like, if you do another movie where you focus more on them, I would like to see that, because they do the whole Next Generation decently. I just wanted to focus more on that, but I definitely want to see more Bad Boys. So it's like, I think that, again, Toga's saying it's directed by 2 people, but yeah, keep making action movies. You guys know what the fuck you're doing. And it's one of those movies, so it's like, yeah, I watched it twice. I remember recommending Dick, though, like, you're gonna like it because this, and this, and he ended up liking it as well. So it's like, yeah, Bad Boys 2. Oh my god, of course you bring up the rat fucking.
I know.
Michael Bay's comedy is seeing animals fuck. And
yeah,
he
really likes it, like in Transformers 2. That's a
the dog. Like, apparently that's a height of comedy for him.
Yeah. Wait until he sees me. Anyway, so the thing is, that's it, guys. Man, we fucking made it through, Alan. 3 hours later, brother.
We did literally 3 hours later.
Yeah.
Endgame. This is the length of end. You could have been watching Endgame, and we just finished. We're rolling.
I had a great fucking time doing this. I know it was long as fuck, but guys, this is something I actually really, really wanted to do, and this actually went as, I think this is like the best one we've done as far as top 10s go.
Oh, it is. You literally no. I'm so mad at you. Last of Us, Last of Us, the worst game of the year, and Doom Patrol is the best TV show of the year.
Ghost of Tsushima won best of the game. We clearly beat Game Awards, bro.
I was waiting for you to fuck with me. I was waiting for you to fuck with me.
Yeah, no, we're good. No, it's fine. Like, I got some of mine. Number one,
Chase that Island over Soul.
Dude, yeah, watch the movie. You'll find out.
Oh.
Just like fucking last year, you should have watched goddamn Teen Titans Go to the fucking movie.
I should have.
You would have noticed it was a great movie. You gotta watch Scoob too. Scoob is fucking way better than fucking Wolfwalkers.
I watched 30 minutes of it and want to die.
Well, next time, just put the knife away. But really quickly, tell people about that fucking Metropolis Collective, because I don't want to take anybody's time that much longer, including your own. Which, by the way, Alan, before we continue, thank you very much for doing this with me, dude.
Yes, I am glad to be a part of this. That Last of Us was the worst game of the year. It won. Don't let him lie to you. This man just lies. Doom Eternal is not as bad as fucking Last of Us.
You tell him about this shit, man. All right, Metropolis right here. Tons of stuff, but Alan can tell you all about that while I get my fucking outro ready.
Okay, so yeah, if you basically follow me on Facebook, you'll see me tagging a lot of this stuff. Our hiatus is almost over. We're actually going to meet up in the next couple of days to figure out what the plan is for the new year. So be sure to check out for new announcements. So drop a like on one of there, or join even the page, so you can get the notifications when we go live with our premieres or just live Twitch shows. So be sure to check that out. Just follow me. You'll see my name all over the place. So just friend of a friend type shit.
Oh, yes, and you guys can hear the music now, and it's banging. Oh, it's not banging that hard, but it is what it is, guys. And we love you very, very much. Thank you for chilling with us for this entire 3-hour extravaganza, this extravagant, fucking epic talk of the top 10 best series, movies, and games. That's fucking here. We might do more top 10s in the future. It will never be as long as this fucking thing is, but if you guys are curious about that stuff, make sure to hit me up either in the after hours or on personal messages, and I would like to count your guys' votes, too. That'd be kind of interesting. But thank you, Alan, once again. Happy New Year's, everybody. We out.
Doom Patrol better than the boys. I don't give a shit.
So wrong.
Boys is all right at best.